rubbish.
Now, I had an interesting experience on Friday. I took my wife Emma and my little boy Campbell out to Hawthorn training.
This is good.
Now, for 15 years, I've gone to football trainings and reported on what happens out on the field and don't sort of tend to worry about too much of the other stuff. But my high is to the Hawthorn Football Club, and more specifically the players, that at the end of training, the property steward came out and gave every player a texter. Half the playing list went one way of the race, the other half went the other way, and the way that they interacted with the young fans, signing autographs, having photographs, just talking to the young kids, I thought was outstanding from Hawthorn. All those players should get a real pat on the back, and my little boy Campbell has got a fan for life in Isaac Smith, who spent some time with little Campbell, and he went home in the car clasping his new footy, and he loved every moment. Got the badge, and it's all about Isaac now. But the way that the Hawthorn players interacted with their
for a lifetime.
Players, they have a huge impact on my little boy. This is a whole new world for me. He was absolutely wrapped.
And a low.
Oh, my goodness. Roadworks. Now, we were coming home from Geelong, probably 10,000 going up the highway, and they decided to make the freeway go one lane around Williamstown Road. A traffic jam at 12:30 at night. Now, yes, you got to do roadworks at some time. Not on a Saturday night when there's AFL football at Geelong. It was extraordinary.
It was dreadful.
And what have you got in store for us?
I will high. I think Jared Rivers made the single best decision a footballer has made all year last night when he left Pavlich, came up to affect the contest, and had he not, he was stone dead. It was a Dockers goal, and in a one-goal game, that was pretty amazing. And I'm lowering the Suns. I was holding with the Suns. I thought it'd take them a few weeks to get into it. Yeah. The way they started the game yesterday was atrocious, given how much they had on the line. That's attitude. That's not absence of Ablett. That's attitude, and that's not on. Footy coming up. The Sunday Inquisition is adjourned.
Newborns are always beautiful. They cannot fail to make the heart sing, for even the plainest faces are alive with promise.
New on BBC DVD, Call the Midwife is charming and entertaining. Follow Nurse Jenny Lee and the midwives and nuns of Nonatus House as they work to provide the best possible care. Call the Midwife Series 3 from ABC shops, centres and shop online.
Grandstand AFL.
100% pure footy.
Pure footy. Pure footy.
You're with Grandstand.
Live and commercial free.
Grandstand AFL.
Grandstand AFL.
Does well, throws it on the face. Drive on the face.
Straight out of the middle, runs a long way, kicks it a long way, and kicks it straight.
Grandstand AFL. Grandstand AFL.
Gets the hand pass away from 30, kicks their sixth quarter.
They need a kicker. The kicker is Frawley. He snaps. He goes.
Welcome to live and commercial-free coverage of the AFL. You're with Grandstand. On ABC Local Radio and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
ABC Grandstand Digital.
Let's get to the live stuff of the Sunday of round 20. Welcome to the Gabba Grandstand AFL with Brisbane and Adelaide first on the menu today. Quentin Hull, your host, in glorious conditions. Absolutely stunning Sunday here in the Sunshine State, with Brisbane looking to continue its relatively good form in the back end of the year. They've won 3 of their last 5 at home, and just about any team in the competition comes to the Gabba with a little bit of trepidation with the way that the young Lions have been going about it in the last couple of months. But Adelaide, a win today, gets them back into the 8 at least until Collingwood and West Coast do battle later on today. So huge stakes for the Crows, who have only won 1 of their last 3. Brisbane have actually won 2 in a row, albeit against the lowly Melbourne last week, and then an upset win in the Q Clash against the Suns last time they were at the Gabba. Brisbane 6-12, playing for some more pride at the back end of this first season under Justin Lepage. And Adelaide, well, 9-9. The stakes are huge. It's a non-negotiable day for Brenton Sanderson and his men as they warm up in their alternate strip, the white strip predominantly for the Crows today. The Lions run out in their home strip, maroon, blue and gold, and it's probably a good thing that the visitors are playing in the white strip today, because my co-commentator Alistair Nicholson with me as I welcome you. It's one of those Gabba days where you do start to look at three-quarter time and think, well, the visitors have been playing in mid-20 degree temperatures for 2 hours. It might become a factor if the locals are near enough at three-quarter time. Nice to have you alongside me on a glorious day, Al.
Oh, it's magic, Quentin. Absolutely love this time of year. Sunday afternoon football at the Gabba. It's really special, and you can sense the vibe outside the ground. People have had a good morning, maybe around South Bank, wandering around the city, and made their way down Vulture Street to the ground. And this is typically not a game that you'd expect a big crowd for, but we're hearing there might be up towards 20,000. Lovely weather. Great scene looking over to the Stanley Street side with plenty of blue sky around. But as you say, such an important game for Adelaide. A shock loss at home to West Coast last week when they were in the 8. But opportunity knocks now because Essendon has lost unexpectedly to Richmond this round. Gold Coast very poor against Carlton yesterday. So the Crows a big chance to march straight back into the top 8.
And our experts today, Josh Fraser and Craig Starcevich. Great to see you two gentlemen again. Fraser, we'll start with you. Nice to have you along on what is a day where I'm sure anyone who's got a bit of footy blood in their veins thinks, yep, give me the Sharon, I want to get out there and have a kick. It looks like a ripping day to play.
Yeah, it does, Quinton. Thanks for having me. It's got I know it's not a finals game, but it's got that type of atmosphere about it. Just walking to the ground, the sun's out, there's plenty of people around. Fair bit to play for the Crows, and you'd expect them to come here and get the job done, although Brisbane have been extremely impressive in the last month, and I just think some of their younger players are starting to build some real confidence and belief. So I think we're in for a really good contest. It's just a game Adelaide can't afford to lose if they want to play in September.
And Stars, good to see you once again. Sort of word on the street around the Lions is that there's some optimism every time you come to the Gabba now, and that's something that we haven't been able to say for a couple of years.
There has, Kieran, the last month or so. They've had some really good form. Last time we were here, they disposed of the Gold Coast fairly easily and had a really ugly win last week, I guess. But looking forward to seeing a young fella debut today, being Jono Freeman, who...
Not Jonathan, Jono.
Jono Freeman from the Noosa Tigers Footy Club via Aspley on the way through. But the Noosa Tigers will be very happy today that he's debuting. Not the least due to the draft fees that come their way as a community club. It's a nice little fillip for your local club.
A few club presidents will be watching his performance closely, I'd imagine, Craig, just to see whether the Lions have got a nice little bargain in Freeman. But
the first of the academy boys to be put on the list and play a game of footy, Al. So yeah,
it's unfair, isn't it? It's an absolute rort. I mean, fair income. The teams in the north get such an easy ride.
Do you know,
these days?
It's like 12 years ago, or whenever it was, 13, 14 years ago, when Nick Riewoldt was the number one draft pick, and everyone thought Queensland was going to churn out number one draft picks year after year after year, and it just hasn't happened, Q, surprisingly.
Would have been a Lions player if they didn't change the rules.
Still a developing state, and we definitely need our academies.
So, to the elements of today, gentlemen, the teams are as named on Thursday night and then tweaked on Friday, so the emergency's not required, so that's a scratching through McGrath, Beams and Leicester for Brisbane, and good news for the Lions that they're making 3 changes unforced due to injury. That trio omitted. While for the Crows, Podsiadly and Thompson are out. Brad Crouch, Laird and Shaw not needed as the emergency. So the subs are Marco Paparone for Brisbane and Mitch Grigg for the Adelaide Crows. So Matt Crouch is playing. Brad Crouch is... Well, I got the brothers around the wrong way. Brad Crouch is playing, Matt Crouch is not. So younger brother sits on and watches bigger brother play today. And, it's interesting that Justin Lepich has got to this point where he's been able to make changes without injury. And, Thompson and Podsiadly out of the Crows team, the 2 experienced heads not there today.
Yeah, and I think that changes your balance, doesn't it, Josh, when you take J-Pod out of that forward line and now the focus is now on Tex down there. So just makes those matchups a little bit easier. You can't spread the opposition as far.
Yeah, it's a big day for Jenkins. It's a really big day for him. He needs to have a day out and get hold of the younger Brisbane defenders. And it's a big day for Eddie Betts, I think. I think he really needs to impose himself on this contest. When you look at Adelaide, you get a feeling that if they don't get a big game from Dangerfield or Sloane, then they really do struggle. Jacobs is another one that's extremely important. So they'll be relying on a really massive game from one of those key midfielders, and also Jacobs giving him first use in the ruck against a Stephen Martin who has just been outstanding since he's returned to the senior lineup. So I like what Brisbane are doing. Rockcliffe's given them great leadership and another solid season. Young Taylor's been an exciting player for him. We know Zorko's a very good player, forward 50, and Buick's another player that's come into the side and added a fair bit. So I think there's plenty to look forward to for Brisbane. I just think that there's too much at stake for the Crows. Those players we mentioned, they need to play well, and Betts and Jenkins up forward need to fire and kick, I think, 6 or 7 between them.
Well, I mentioned that the conditions are gorgeous. The man that's got the pleasure of sitting out amongst them today, Matt Webber, welcome to you on the boundary.
Afternoon, Quentin. Afternoon, everybody. Yes, stunning conditions down here. Where's my sun lounge? Maybe a cheeky pina colada or something like that to take this game in. You'd reckon they could just about roll out the first day of an Ashes Test match too. Conditions absolutely sublime. Really looking forward to it. As you've mentioned, the Brisbane Lions definitely building towards something. Of all those developing sides, they've just developed this tenacity over the course of the year, paying dividends late. They'd want to be a bit of a wrecking ball at this point of the year, I reckon, and they come across a prime target in Adelaide who have everything on the line, must win now that the Suns and Essendon have left the door ajar a little bit. Most looking forward to this game. It's going to be a ripper, I reckon.
Good on you, Matt. So break it down for us, guys. The power of Adelaide up forward with Taylor Walker back in the team seems one obvious area that Brisbane lacks at the moment, but the development of Brisbane's forward line in the absence of Jonathan Brown seems to have heartened a few.
Yeah, I think that's changed significantly since, Brownie's sort of vacated that space, and now Michael Close and Daniel Merritt, luckiest man this week on the planet, I would have thought.
On the planet?
Playing a game of footy this week. But it's just changed the way that's looked, and I think they now know that if they can get it into those tall targets, they've got Taylor, Green and Zorko at ground level that can wreak absolute havoc. So we've seen that quite a bit in the last month. So at least there's some sort of structure up there. I'm noticing John Freeman's going to start the game as well. He looks like he's heading down the forward line. So really exciting time for the young fella.
In a way, it's good to see Justin Leppich rewarded for what he's done, isn't it? If you look at it, Brent Maloney was part of the squad and there were questions over why he wasn't getting a game at the start of the year, but he drew a line in the sand, and now we're seeing these young players with 14 or 15 games to their names. In the case of Lewis Taylor, he's played every game, so I guess he's accelerated the pace of their progression, and we're seeing the fruits of that now.
Yeah, there's still going to be some inconsistencies. I think that's the important thing to remember. There's such a young group that they've done a terrific job today, but they're still going to fluctuate a little bit. Let's hope today, for the sake of the game, they played their best.
Who wins?
Crows for me.
Yeah, probably Adelaide.
Al Nicholson to get you underway. Enjoy the start of Sunday of round 20.
And umpire Stevens lays it into the Gabba turf. Jacobs the first tap for the Crows, and he's out after it, but jumping in over the top of it was Zorko. Got a little hand pass out. Ace was tackled without the ball, and the South Australian will take the free kick at the back edge of the square. Adcock short pass. Mark dropped by Patfield, but he does well to gather. Shrugged to tackle. He's tackled though a second time by Betts. Lions still in possession. Rockcliffe to Martin. Martin on the Stanley Street wing. Hand pass back to Maguire and a short pass. And the mark taken by Rockcliffe in front of the interchange on the far side of the ground. He brings it back towards the corridor, and a mark taken by Mays. Still on the wing. He's going to try and switch the play. Man on in the middle is McStay. So impressive last week. He marks and falls over trying to play on. Just gets his kick away, and it's a nice ball for Gardner, the rising star, after taking 12 marks last week.
So a precise build-up here. Gardner's kick infield results in a free kick going to Jed Adcock. And Gardner wanted to play on, was called to play on, is tackled by Tom Lynch and is holding the ball.
Fair call, Q.
Yeah, poor awareness, isn't it? He did decide to play on, and he's cost his side a costly turnover.
So Lynch for the Crows, kicks to the wing, right marks. He kicks forward of the wing for the Crows, and that works. Jenkins takes the footy, 2 kicks from goal between wing and right half forward for Adelaide, who are kicking to the western end in this first term. He kicks it towards the attacking 50. No mark. Off a pack, Zorko's ball for Brisbane. Hand passes to the dangerous Hanley. He hands it to Aish, and the Lions willing to run and gun off half back. Interchange from Leicester back to Zorko, all by a hand. A bounce then to Hanley, to half forward. Oh, please finish. It would be so pretty. The kick on goal by Twist is a goal. Oh, that is lovely. Welcome to Sunday football, ladies and gentlemen.
Fantastic footy. Off half back for Dane Zorko to take the game on. have a bounce through the corridor and set things up, that's when the Lions look really dangerous.
Yeah, it's an interesting kick from Jenkins to the inside of the 50-metre line to Eddie Betts, almost a 2-on-1. Great to see Brisbane off the back of the turnover, put some speed on the game, link up with handball through the middle of the ground, and a terrific finish. So really positive start for the Lions.
Only Crisp's third game of the season after some solid form in the Neefle. He's made the most of his chance at AFL level, and that is when the Lions look at their best, when they take the game on through the corridor. Very nice goal to kick off proceedings here. That's not a very nice bounce, and the umpire should have recalled it. Martin palmed it down. Rockcliffe to Zorko by hand, and Martin by hand. His short pass marked by Crisp, 55 out. They want to play on it all. Every occasion, smothered by Smith, and it comes to Jensch inside defensive 50. Gets the clearing kick in the Walker direction. Good, strong mark taken in front of Clark on the edge of the centre square.
He's a long way from home. Defensive side of halfway. Walker kicks long inside 50. Pat fullbacks back into a pack. Almost marked for Brisbane. Got a hand on it at ground level. His hand pass doesn't find a target, and Jenkins is down and hurt for Adelaide in back play. Aish now has it for Brisbane. The hand pass again through the corridor for the Lions. Maguire, he kicks to full forward to a 2-on-2. One out target there is close. Couldn't take the grab, and the Crows will come away. A high clearing kick from Luke Thompson is almost marked by Walker at right half back. Sloane's underneath him, and the Crows have got the footy as Jenkins goes to the bench. Marked on the wing by Lynch. Matt Webber, what's Jenkins looking like?
I think he might have just copped a stray finger in the eye by the looks of things. He doesn't look too troubled by it, just a little bit uncomfortable for now.
Lynch chips over the top, and a mark taken near the boundary line by Lyons. He's a very good cricketer. His father Marty played 27 games for Melbourne in the 70s. Also a premiership player with Sandringham. He chips back to Lynch, who's not played a lot of footy for the Crows this year. Their leading goal kicker last year. That's a good pass to half forward for Sloane, who sweeps the hand pass. Wright wants to take on Aish. He kicks it to the pocket for the Crows. Dangerfield had a couple to beat. He got hands to it, but it went over the boundary line for a throw-in the right forward pocket. The Lions a goal, the Crows yet to score. 4 minutes played. Grandstand AFL, Sunday afternoon footy from the Gabba.
Ball to be tossed in the right forward pocket for Adelaide. Jacobs and Martin tangle. Jacobs roves the crumb, kicks a goal. He tapped it down to the foot of the pack, and it ricocheted back to his feet. And the big man bent down, picked up and snapped truly from 15 metres out. First goal of the day for the Crows, one straight apiece through 4.5 minutes.
It's great agility, Fraser. A guy that tall would be 202, wouldn't he? Big Jacobs.
Yeah, he'd have to be in it. That's important for him, because just watching the early part of this game, Martin's really tried to work him over on the spread, and that's going to be a key to this matchup. If Jacobs can influence the play going forward the way he did then, that'll make Martin a lot more accountable. So really opportunistic goal from the big fella, but Jesus, Ruckman, when you can kick them, you're worth your weight in gold.
202, 101 kilos. I suspect he's heavier than that.
Looks a tad heavier stuff.
But great agility by the big fella.
Martin and Jacobs eyeball each other in the middle again. A wonky bounce, and the umpire does recall it this time.
Just to keep Stephen Martin honest too, just for the opposition ruckman to kick a goal on you. Just when you've got another bloke who's in really good form, just to keep you honest early in the game.
Martin goes early, taps it down. Sloane got a hand pass down out as he was hitting the deck into the congestion. He goes again, Sloane. He flips it out, did well. Got it to Martin. Martin's hand pass slapped down. It comes to Green of the Lions. To Mays by hand, back to Green. He's backtracking, but he's done well. Gives it to Gardner, back point of the square. Lovely kick to Robertson on the wing. Robertson goes short, and a mark taken by Martin, who's prepared to run off Jacobs. Gets a hand pass to Robertson. Robertson in a bind. His hand pass is shocker. Cameron gathers, and he's explosive and exciting, and he bursts away with a bounce. A couple up the Stanley Street wing. It didn't come back to him. It went out of play.
Explosive, all right. Blew up in his face.
Spot on. Boundary throw in on the Stanley Street side. He's got a connection to Queensland, hasn't he, Stars?
He has, Al, yeah. He's from Cape York, believe it or not, but had a long journey, which we might talk about later.
Douglas is underneath the throw-in and wins a clearance for the Crows. A rush kick towards Walker at half-forward. 2-on-2 contest, no mark, and Gardner sees it over the line for the Lions. Throw-in 40 metres from Adelaide's goal.
Gents, Josh Jenkins just heading down to the rooms. He went straight past me, really bloodshot right eye. I think he did get a finger in there. They're just going down to have a closer look.
Thanks, Matt. Matt Webber on the boundary. Thrown in with Adelaide in attack. Neither ruckman with a telling hand. Hanley's underneath. Tackled as soon as he got it. still at the bottom of the pack. Chance for Adelaide as it's thrown on the boot by McKay towards the goal mouth. They didn't have the journey to go all the way. Walker's underneath the pack, charging through right. Walker got a hand pass to him, and right snap on goal is punched through for a point by the desperate fist of the rising star of the week, Darcy Gardner. Adelaide to the lead. 1-1 plays one straight.
Zorko's going to kick in for the Lions. Haven't seen him do this too often. Often a job reserved for Jed Adcock. Goes to the pocket, very short, and Patfull takes the mark, and that's probably why, Craig.
I was just waiting for him to play on and take him on. So.
Down the middle.
Yep.
Zorko end to end. Patfull launches out to half back on the Stanley Street side. Big pack, Merritt up, no mark. Comes to ground level. Hanley's lurking, but he can't get involved. The ball's locked in and will be thrown in the air 60 metres from the Adelaide goal as Ace gets himself up from the bottom of the pack. Thrown in the air in the sunshine at the Gabba. Third man up was Sloane. Quick kick forward inside the 50 for the Crows. Up goes Big Lynch. He can't take the mark. Maguire's got it in the pocket. He's confronted. Lions might want to see this out. It's not going to go out. Zorko's got it. He's wrapped up ferociously by Sloane, who's averaging 7 tackles a game. He loves that stuff. It's locked in 35 metres from the Adelaide goal at the western end of the ground. They lead by a point at the 8-minute mark.
No changes to the teams. Mitch Grigg and Marco Paparone, the subs. As Brisbane clear. Zorko's kick from the pocket goes to a pack on the wing, but it's won by Adelaide's Jench. Kicks the ball back into attack for the Crows. No mark. On the ground about 40 metres from Adelaide's goal. Martin there for Brisbane. Hacks a defensive kick clear, but only to Andy Otten of Adelaide. He marks a kick and a half from goal at left half forward. So the Crows go into attack again, very wide to the pocket, looking for Walker. The spoil was good from, was it Tom Rockcliffe doing the punching work there? Or was it Goosey Maguire? It was Justin Clark with the spoil. So
some interesting matchups down there. Q Clark's actually got Walker, and Maguire's got the sort of smaller Tom Lynch.
So throw in the pocket. The Crows have just got Brisbane pinned here at the moment, but Harwood gets a kick clear, and it goes over the boundary line about 60 from Adelaide's goal. At left half forward for the Crows, right half back for Brisbane. Adelaide 1-1-7, Brisbane 1 straight 6 early on in glorious conditions at the Gabba on Grandstand AFL.
Shallow throw in, tapped down. Douglas couldn't take it. Over at Rockcliffe, dispossessed in a strong tackle. Ball spills out. Sloane's little hand pass near the boundary line, picked up by Buick of the Lions. Hand pass to Zorko at half back, comes back towards the corridor. Mark taken by Gardner. Hand passes to Patfull. Through the middle they go. Hand pass comes to Robertson. Good hand pass to Adcock. Adcock at centre half forward. 55 out. Kicked a long goal last week. This won't be a goal. Close getting back with a flight near the post. Couldn't take the mark. It's gone off his hand over for a throw in 15 metres out.
Great build up though. The courage to take that kick inside from their half back line. Just opened the ground up totally for them then, and some run and carry. They look very good, Brisbane.
It'll be Jacobs and close. Another shallow throw in, knocked back towards the boundary line. Taylor went flying after receiving a bump. It's gone out of play in the same spot. Lions deep in attack at the eastern end.
There's a fair degree of risk with that style of play too, isn't there, Fraser? And it's just great to see the Lions. Obviously confidence is up over the last month, so you tend to back yourself with those sort of risks.
Jacobs palms down. Zorko's lurking. Crouches there. Paddles it back into the congestion. Zorko goes again. Loses control of it. It comes to Jench of the Crows. He'll clear the immediate danger. Maguire in the pack. Good mark. No, not quite. Didn't bring it down. He'll go again. Try to turn tackler on Lynch, who did well to work it towards Sloane. He's on the deck. Hand pass pinched by Robertson. High up and under towards about 30 metres from goal. Henderson's got it. It was Otten. Flipped it back, and Crouch will clear for the Crows.
Brad Crouch's kick to Patfull and Lynch with the contest there, and the free kick goes Patfull's way. The ungainly attempt to spoil from Tom Lynch. So the reigning dual best and fairest kicks backwards, marked by Gardner near the bullseye. So the reset position for the Lions. Oh, the hand pass went to Harwood, who took too long. Great pressure from Charlie Cameron. The Lions might keep onto it though. Adcock, he's held without the football and will get a free kick.
Surely that's holding the ball, isn't it? Surely that's holding the ball.
Absolutely agree. They're very, very lucky to get away with all of that.
And then to rub salt into the room, Cameron should have been given a kick and then gives away the free kick for holding Adcock without the ball. Adcock hand passes to Maguire. From the bullseye, he kicks long to the pocket. Merritt pushed out his man. No free kick at the back of the pack. Jacobs wins it for Adelaide. His kick to left half back is good. Matthew Wright marks for the Crows. Adelaide 1-1, Brisbane 1 straight. Good footy early on here in beautiful conditions at the Gabba.
Kick to the edge of the square for Smith. Dangerous kick. He kicked it off the outside of the boot. McStay intercepted. Short pass to Mays. Short pass to Taylor. 60 from goal. In the corridor, Louis Taylor. He's got Harwood or he's got Rockcliffe. He goes short on the bounce to Rockcliffe. Still 60 out. He goes to the edge of 50. Nice pass. Mark taken by Crisp. 48 metres from goal. He's a good long left foot kick and he's a chance to kick his second.
Gee, Brodie Smith's kick, Fraser, under no pressure through the middle of the ground was just an absolute shocker. Turnover around about half back.
Yeah, they were away too, Stars. The first time they were able to pull the ground apart and get some space. Just a poor kick.
So Crisp coming through the centre square. The kick's from about 60. Hasn't quite got all of it to a pack and a big mark taken in the goal square. Tremendous stuff from Michael Close. What an emerging prospect he is. Or is it McStay? McStay, who did this against the Demons last week as well. He was playing as a defender, predominantly at reserve level, but he's showing he's a real target up forward as he goes back and kicks the goal. What a very nice set of hands Daniel McStay possesses, and he's got a goal to his name this afternoon. The Lions have two straight. The Crows 1-1-7, 13 played opening term.
I reckon a real bonus to the Brisbane Lions coaching staff, whether it's the defensive coaches or the forward coaches who are practising jumping at pack marks from 3 or 4 deep, and they're trying to educate that skill with their young group coming through, and then you see this starting to happen in the last couple of weeks where a guy can actually do it is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, over the top of the opposition ruckman as well, so really good signs for the Lions. They're up and about. I just don't think Adelaide have got their game going anywhere near what we know they're capable of. The Lions have closed them down well and hurt them on turnover.
Josh Fraser and Craig Starcevich on Grandstand AFL. Centre bounce, whistle. Just as Dangerfield kicked it off the ground and got it going forward for the Crows, but it's coming back to be a free kick to Pat Dangerfield in the middle of the ground. So he kicks it wide, finds the target in Brodie Martin, who's on the northern wing in the sunshine. Martin's kick inside 50, looking for Walker, who's spoiled by Harwood. Falls close to the boundary line. Douglas keeps it in for the Crows. He's in the hardest of angles, centering kick, misses the target. And the mark is taken by Crisp, who's now back in defence for Brisbane. He kicks it to right half back. Maguire's there. The Lions are out and running again. Maguire hand passes to Robertson. Robertson kicks over the wing for Brisbane. 2-on-2 contest at half forward. Otten almost spoils, but it ends up in the hands of Green of Brisbane. He's 60 out, the little man. The Blood Knight stops, assesses. He kicks to the lead of close, but it's well read by Henderson, I think it was, coming across to take a relieving mark for Adelaide. And good news that Jenkins is back out there because he's just taken the mark from Henderson's kick.
His kick for Lions, who took it on the bounce, gave it to Crouch. He strongly tackled, and Crouch was strong enough to get the hand pass away to Lions. Well played. It comes to Martin, short pass to Betts at right half forward for the Crows. He wants to go very wide to Douglas. Douglas still 2 kicks from goal.
How good was Brad Crouch to keep his hands clear in that tackle? That was a crunching tackle. Got his arms clear.
To the pocket for Walker. Has to turn spoiler on that occasion. Ball on the deck. Patfull's hand pass was poor. He goes again. Slaps at the Lions' way. Picked up by Martin. Good hand pass to Mays. Away it goes to Hanley. Hand pass to Mays again. To Zorko. Through the middle. It's opened up for them. Here's Crisp with a running bounce. He can have another. He can have another. He can go all the way. Through the 50. Kicks to the unguarded goal. What a beautiful sight. 2 magnificent goals to Crisp through the middle of the Gabba. That is worth the price of admission alone. 15 played opening term. Brisbane 3 straight. Adelaide 1-1-7.
Well, right now, Stas, I think you could sum it up in one word, if you like, in work rate. At the moment, Brisbane are just outworking Adelaide. Their defenders are getting back to support their defence, and then they're able to win the ball and transition it by hands through the middle of the ground. And when you look behind the play, the Adelaide players are just stationary. There's no effort to chase. Yep. They don't win it in the contested footy. They're rendered useless. So at the moment, the Lions are giving them a real lesson.
It's only early, but danger signs certainly. And, that's a poor bounce that the umpire should have recalled. Nonetheless, it favoured Brisbane, and Adelaide will get the clearance. Brad Crouch does a bit of a 360. Now back in the bullseye, kicks towards right half forward. Target is McKay, and he'll get a free kick. He was manhandled, even though he couldn't take the mark.
Sam Mays had a hold of his arm in that marking contest, Q.
He hand passes to Walker, who from 60 metres out tries the barrel, kicks it out of bounds on the full.
Just dumb play.
It is. And you mentioned transition there before, Josh. That's exactly right. I mean, they're they're running forward, Adelaide, and when it turns over, it's almost like a second or two to work out, geez, switch on to defence, and that second or two has allowed Brisbane out, and it's too late.
Maguire to take the free kick for the Lions. He'll go short, and the mark is taken in front of the goals by Darcy Gardner.
Jack Crisp, really good for him to get a couple of running goals and open up the opposition through the middle. He's had a really good year in the NEFL so far, hasn't had a run, and he's reaping the rewards today.
Jenkins from half forward thumps the Crows back inside 50. Walker's got his eyes on it, he's got his hands on it, couldn't quite bring it to down with him, and he gets a hand pass out. Lynch, 15 out, left foot snap, goal. Well played, Crows. They get their second. The Lions 3 straight. The Crows 2-1-13. 17 played opening term on Grandstand AFL.
Just the way they're going forward worries me a little bit, Stas. It often going long to Taylor Walker, who's sitting under a pack. Now, they've been able to manufacture 2 goals to this point, but somehow they need to be able to open their forward line up and create some leading lanes, particularly for a player like Betts, I think, who can use his speed down there, because if you're relying on some of your tools to rove and kick goals as it's going to be a long day.
Most of their forward entries, you're spot on, mate. They're going to either Lynch or Walker in the air, long 40-metre pass in the air, and plenty of numbers around those contests. No one's lowered their eyes yet and tried to pinpoint inside the 50.
5 points the lead to Brisbane. Centre bounce, Dangerfield underneath the tap. His kick's a little bit of a scrubber one out towards left half forward, and Brisbane will pick up through Gardner. He hand passes to Aish, who's just shy of the wing, runs the boundary line. Now Aish puts his boot to it, kicks to half forward. Leading target coming out was close, couldn't take the mark, but he battles on and tackles Henderson ferociously into the Gabba turf. Umpire says, play ball, lads. And it hasn't really come out. Crouch is trying to worm his way through a hole, but can't, and a ball up will be affected, 60 from Brisbane's goal. Glorious day, ferocious footy, and we've seen a couple of cracking goals from Crisp early on. There's a good vibe about this from the locals' perspective, and if you're a Crows fan, you'd be a little nervy early on, but it is only early. Dangerfield's underneath the clearance here. Slaps the left boot towards the wing, which is seen over the line by Maguire, who was running out in front of Jenkins. We'll see a throw in.
The other thing about the heat today too, Q, is that interchange bench over there, you get no respite. And if you're the local club, it's hot. And if you're the visiting club that's come out of the mid-teens, it gets very, very warm over where Matt Webb is sitting.
Oh, says the man who was the mind behind the ice vets and ice chambers in the Matthews era, Craig Starcevich.
Rockliff's kick forward. Jentsch gets in the way of it. Hand pass comes out and Otten clears the immediate danger. Good mark to Jacobs, standing in front of his opponent, Martin, defensive side of the wing. Kicks in the Betts direction. Not a great kick. Betts picks up at his bootlaces. Hand passes to Dangerfield and he kicks backwards, and Jacobs has it set a wing. He brings it back to the corridor. Poor kick again on the bounce to Sloan. He's tackled. Sloan 360. Got his hand pass to Wright. Wright kicks to half forward. No one there for Adelaide though. Adcock sweeps the hand pass to Taylor. Taylor over the top to Aish, all on the Stanley Street wing. Over the top it goes to Green, who's got pace to burn. Wright pursues. He approaches half forward. Kicks to the pocket for Merritt on a lead. Well played, Thompson. Got across the front of him. Took the mark. No.
Not paid.
Good hands to it. Had a pretty good bite, but Merritt able to spoil it over the boundary line. 30 metres out.
Opened him up again there, Josh. Running forward.
Yeah, that's their go at the moment.
Martin in front, Jacobs, tap down, Taylor brushes a tackle, gets a hand pass, Sloan in the way to get a hand to it, it's on the deck, Green over it, they pile in around him, ball locked in, good tackle by Brodie Smith. It's 30 metres out from the Lions' goal at the eastern end, and they lead by 5 points.
Question with notice to the former fitness advisor to the Lions, just what advantage is there for the home team in this hot condition today here at the Gabba? As the ball is thrown in the air, no clearance at the top of the Lions' goal mouth, players burrowing in. We'll see another one.
Yeah, I reckon it's significant today, Q, particularly if you've come out of a southern state winter. You're coming up here and it's a bit of a shock to the system. It's mid-20s and you're in the heat of the sun too at 1 o'clock. So I think it's a significant advantage to the home club.
Craig Starcevich with you on Grandstand AFL. Jacobs taps down, and at the back of the pack Douglas can clear for Adelaide, which is marked by Lynch at right half back. He chips it over the man on the mark. McKay takes the grab. He runs the northern boundary line. Kicks it to Eddie Betts, who's got some space just forward of the wing. Now he's closed down by Aish. Betts says, I'll kick it quickly, one-on-one to Taylor Walker. and the defender was no chance. Walker got to the drop, takes the mark, 30 metres out directly in front.
First time we've seen an uncluttered forward line, I guess, just the ability to get it in there quickly. Eddie was a mile on his own there across half forward and turned and got it in there quickly, Josh.
Yeah, and it happened from a forward stoppage in Brisbane's forward 50. All the Adelaide forwards compressed the ground and there was only 2 behind the centre. And once they got that ball moving, there's plenty of space for him to work back into.
21 goals in 11 games in his return this season, Taylor Walker. The right boot here is a beautiful kick, straight through. And Adelaide returns to the lead. Crows 3-1, Lions 3 straights, 22 and a half first term on Grandstand AFL.
It's just a smarter build-up, Stars, I think. Early in the game, we know the game's only early and Brisbane have been outstanding, but Adelaide's forward 50 entries were just too predictable and the Lions were able to get back in supporting numbers and work the ball forward themselves. On that occasion, they basically turned the tables. From a stoppage, they were able to compress the ground, win the footy at the stoppage, transition it out, and they had 3 players across half forward and eventually leading to a very smart kick from Betts to the favoured side of Taylor Walker, who goes back and kicks his first. So much better build-up, and that's the way they want to go about it, I would have thought.
Martin and Jacobs. Martin the tap. Sloan almost the clearance. His kick semi-smothered. Hand pass came out from Lyons, but it was pinched. Then slapped down by Jacobs, the attempted hand pass. Patfull works it out towards Mays. Mays on the wing to Martin. Martin drives the Lions forward. Merritt's the target with 2 to beat. He can't impose as he shepherded off the contest. Smith got the spoil. It's out near the boundary line and over 40 metres from goal.
I think that epitomises Stephen Martin in the last month or two, Josh. Just the ability to compete at the centre bounce and then become like a ruck rover. He's become a very dangerous mobile on-baller.
Averaging 20 possessions a game, Craig, since he came into the team against the Bulldogs in round 12. Smith's got it for the Crows at left half back. Gets the hand pass back and Lyons drives it up the Stanley Street wing. Jenkins landed in his lap. A little fortuitous. He plays on quickly. Floating ball inside the 50. Bounces over the head of Cameron. At the back, Lynch did well to tap it to Cameron. Left foot, snap. Oh, he's just missed on the near side. It was a nice bit of play from Lynch to work it to Cameron, who couldn't quite finish. The margin's 2 points in favour of the Crows at the 24-minute mark.
And the kick in is quick to Buick, who marks uncontested in the left back pocket.
Adelaide are going to be a handful at ground level when both Cameron and Eddie Betts have a day out, Josh, I would have thought.
Absolutely. Yep.
Buick has to kick to a contest near the wing. Close got in front, got first hand, couldn't complete the mark. Talia at the back has it for the Crows. Close pressures him, but the kick is good from Talia. He rushed it towards half forward. Lynch takes the mark for the Crows, 50 from goal. He hand passes to Lyons, 55 out. Right foot kick without great penetration on goal is easily marked by Harwood. Tracking back for Brisbane on the last line of defence. So they'll reset from the goal square.
Harwood, who only played 2 games prior to round 11 and hasn't missed since. He's averaging 18 possessions a game, and that's not a good possession because he's spotted Jacobs at left half forward. He's 60 metres out. He goes inside the 50, low ball, and Lynch, I don't know how he was able to get 8 metres on any opponent. He'll go back and have a shot from 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Adelaide did really well to set up them when Harwood kicked in, Josh. Just forcing him to kick long down the line. They're not getting into Sam Jacobs' hands, but just did really well to set up their zone and structures to cause that long kick and then eventual turnover.
So Lynch, 33 goals last year to be their leading goal kicker. Only 5 this year coming into the game as he drives through it from 48 metres. That's not a bad hit at all. Great goal from Lynch. He's got 2 now for the afternoon. And Adelaide out to its biggest lead of the game. 8 points at the 25-minute mark of the opening term. 4-2-26. Plays 3 straight 18.
It's been a good response from the Crows because early in this quarter or in the game, it was Brisbane's intensity and intent that was doing all the damage. So they were able to weather the storm and get the game back on their terms. It's 2 minutes 40 left in the term, so it's going to be an important couple of minutes for both sides. If Adelaide can get one more back, I think they'd be happy with their start, and if Brisbane can pinch one, they'd be thrilled with the way they've gone about it. So a big couple of minutes coming up for both sides.
6 scoring shots to 3 to Adelaide, and they're leading the inside 50s by 2.
Probably the easy in how Brisbane have got their goals, I think, which has been the most impressive part.
Jacobs first hand at the centre bounce, Dangerfield underneath, just couldn't get a handle on it, and he's pressured by Rockcliffe. The ball bumbles its way towards half forward for Brisbane without anyone getting a clean handle, and the umpire's going to sort it out with the ball up.
Guys, you wondered how Tom Lynch managed to get free before his opponent is Darcy Gardner, the two 27s on each other. Nursing a bit of a hamstring. They're keeping a close eye on him.
Thanks, Matt Webber, on the boundary as Dangerfield under another clearance gets a left boot towards the wing for the Crows. Lynch is disadvantaged by a bad bounce, and Gardner, well, he's okay at the moment. He wins the ball there, gets a hand pass to Buick. Lions trying to work it through half forward here. Robertson hand passes to Crisp. Crisp kicks to the pocket, almost a mark to Jono Freeman, the first gamer. But on the boundary line, Green uses his pace to run along the goal line, get to the goal mouth and slam through a goal. Very inclined to use those jet shoes, the red-headed Tasmanian, and another goal for Brisbane. 4 straight to the Lions, Adelaide 4-2, as we get to the shadows of quarter time.
Gee, he didn't need much space, did he, Josh? Little Josh Green, but I'm sure Luke Brown would be ecstatic about his tackle there, allowing to break through.
Thinking the same thing, Stars. That's one he probably won't want to see in the review. But his ground ball, Green's ground ball was super impressive, wasn't it? He was able to turn his body and put the afterburners on and get to goal. He's got great goal sense and he's becoming a really important player for the Lions.
He's kicked 26 for the season now. It's been a good year for Josh Green. Free kick out of the middle will go the way of the Crows just as Zorko was breaking towards centre half forward. It'll be taken by Sloan, who's made a good start for the Crows. Just behind the bullseyes, he drives long in the Jenkins direction. He takes a strong mark, not quite, yes. Umpire has paid it, yes he has. It was one of those 50-50s where he got a good piece, but it fell out late.
Paid the goal, I think.
It can't be a goal.
That's bizarre.
It must be a free kick.
The umpire's bringing it
hasn't
back.
paid chop in the arms, has he?
The goal umpire's already waved the flags for a goal. Now he's crossing them over. It has to come back.
Yeah, not the goal umpire's fault, I might add, because the fieldy gave the all clear and then realised, no, I called a mark. So the fella who marked it's got to actually take the kick, not spilling out for advantage.
The boundary umpire's just gridironed the ball back about 35 metres.
Good throw, wasn't it?
Huge throw.
That's good from the umpire too. He made a blue and he fixed it straight away. I think that is Jordan Bannister, the field umpire, so well done to him.
Jenkins with goals in 13 of his 16 games. He's had a very good year for the Adelaide Crows. He comes in, kicks from 40, a floating, wobbling Kernahan ball that's away to the left.
Wished he got a chop the arms free kick there.
Yes. Well, he should have kicked that, Josh Jenkins. And the margin is 3 points to the Crows as we tick up towards 30 minutes played in the opening term.
I'm nervous about Ryan Harwood kicking in, Al.
Well, it wasn't his fault, but the second man has kicked it to a Crow.
Where's Jed? It's usually Jed or Hanley.
Yeah, it wasn't actually Ryan's fault that time. It was the second kick.
Pat Dangerfield has marked the kick from Tom Rockcliffe, who you'd expect better of.
Yeah.
Rockcliffe was trying to precisely move it from the pocket to half back, but Dangerfield's got in the way. He kicked a cracking goal round 2 last year out of the middle in one of his better performances of 2013. Hasn't been as explosive as last year, but hampered by a few niggles, Paddy Dangerfield. This kick from right on 50, slightly left-hand side. He's given it a good ride. That's a great kick from a fine player. To kick an important goal for his team close to quarter time. Dangerfield now has 16 goals for the year. Adelaide has 5 for the day and leads by 9 points at the 30.5-minute mark. Crows 5-3, Lions 4 straight.
I was about to say a couple of minutes ago he's had a quiet first quarter, Josh, but he's now cranked that up to 7 touches and kicked a goal, so you can't keep him out of the game.
Geez, that's a good finish, isn't it? Really nice finish.
Just flashed it, didn't he? From about just outside the 50. Beautiful kick.
I reckon a few of those niggles, Q, have been from opponents at times too. He's getting some very close attention this season, Patrick Dangerfield, as opposition teams realise just how important he is to the Adelaide Crows. Jacobs wins the tap down to Dangerfield. Good pick up at his bootlaces and a kick towards half forward. Otten's coming out to meet it. It was Walker leaving it in the end, creating space for Martin to run onto it. Kicks from 50. Not a bad low ball towards goal. It goes through. Brodie Martin with a goal from right half forward. Well played by Walker. He decided not to go at the ball, but to lay a shepherd, block bodies and create space for Martin to have time to assess, take his time and slot it from 50. And the Crows get back-to-back goals approaching quarter time. They've got 6. 6:3:39. The Lions are 4 straight 24, 31 and a half minutes played in the opening term. And we've only got a few seconds remaining of it.
That's 5 of the last 6 goals in the game to Adelaide.
Nice little bonus when you get your mids kicking a few, Josh.
Yeah, it is. And when you get your big ruckman putting it lace out to get that clearance at the start of that play, big advantage.
I was just going to ask you about that, Josh. It seems like Jacobs is starting to get a read on Martin, but Martin gets a hand there at the centre bounce for Brisbane. Sloan applies a very strong tackle to ensure there's no clearance, and we'll see a reset in the bullseye.
Clearance is 11-8 to Adelaide, and surprisingly, they're not winning the centre clearances, so the Lions must have had a few banked early in the quarter.
Siren imminent at the Gabba. There it is. That's quarter time. An aesthetically pleasing quarter of football, and certainly an aesthetically pleasing scoreboard from Crows fans' perspective, because after being down by 11 points early in the term, they kicked 5 of the last 6 goals of the quarter to take a 15-point lead into the first change. Adelaide 6 goals, 3:39 leads Brisbane's 4 straight 24. The goals for Adelaide, 2 to Tom Lynch, and 4 singles, Walker, Jacobs, Dangerfield and Brodie Smith, while for Brisbane, Jack Crisp has 2 goals, and the others singles to McStay and Green. Adelaide 6-3-39, Brisbane 4 straight 24. The Crows lead by 15 points at quarter time. Shortly, Josh Fraser and Craig Starcevich to break it down for you on Grandstand AFL.
Mum, this is who I've always been on the inside. I came here to show you who I really am.
New on DVD, Carlotta, based on the life of the iconic Les Girls headliner and transgender pioneer. Starring Jessica Murray, it is a universal story about identity, tolerance and acceptance. Carlotta is an uplifting celebration of finding your place in the world and making your mark against all odds. Carlotta, available now from ABC shops, centres, shop online and DVD retailers.
Sunday footy.
Grandstand AFL.
Interchange from Leicester back to Zorko, all by a hand. A bounce then to Hanley, to half forward. Oh, please finish. It would be so pretty. The kick on goal by Quint is a goal. Oh, that is lovely. Welcome to Sunday football, ladies and gentlemen. Ball to be tossed in the right forward pocket for Adelaide. Jacobs and Martin tangle. Jacobs roves the crumb, kicks a goal.
Mays, away it goes to Hanley. Hand pass to Mays again. To Zorko through the middle. It's opened up for them. Here's Crisp with a running bounce. He can have another. He can have another. He can go all the way through the 50. Kicks to the unguarded goal. What a beautiful sight. Jenkins from half forward thumps the Crows back inside 50. Walker's got his eyes on it. He's got his hands on it. Couldn't quite bring it down with him. And he gets a hand pass out. Lynch, 15 out. Left foot snap. Goal.
Robertson hand passes to Crisp. Crisp kicks to the pocket. Almost a mark to John O'Freeman, the first gamer. But on the boundary line, Green uses his pace to run along the goal line, get to the goal mouth and slam through a goal.
Dangerfield, good pick up at his bootlaces and a kick towards half forward. Otten's coming out to meet it. It was Walker leaving it in the end, creating space for Martin to run onto it. Kicks from 50. Not a bad low ball towards goal. It goes through.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Good-looking footy game here. Crows lead it by 15 points at quarter time. Quentin Hull and Alistair Nicholson calling the action. Craig Starcevich and Josh Fraser, your analysts.
Well, I think the stats tell a bit of a story, Stars, in that Adelaide have had 62 kicks to the Lions, 42. And on the handball side of things, the Lions have had 53 to Adelaide's 29. So I think we spoke about it halfway through that first quarter. Brisbane's intent to actually link up with handball and on the counter-attack from a turnover or from a defensive 50 stoppage and actually run and carry the ball. We saw Crisp, I think it was, kick 2 goals on the run. That was their strong intent at the start of the game. Adelaide have been a little bit more kick and catch, and the game probably opened up a bit for them in the second part of that quarter, where they were able to move the ball by foot a lot more effective, probably by getting their forwards up the ground a bit and leaving some space in behind. But it's going to be interesting to see if they persist, Brisbane, with the run and gun type of style, and I think it's served them well, but you need to have the ability to be able to change as well and adapt to the way the game's being played.
Yeah, totally agree, mate, because early in the quarter there, the defence from Brisbane would have been thinking, right, turnover, off we go. Let's rebound from here, and you get into that mentality, and then all of a sudden the opposition just wrestle it back off you a little bit, and now it's like, okay, we've lost that little bit of ascendancy, now I have to defend. And Adelaide are making them very accountable now defensively, because they're chipping it around, denying possession, and starting to spot up some holes inside that forward 50 and finding targets. So the other thing probably at the back end of that quarter too, it's not only getting a centre clearance, but a really good quality centre clearance where some guy gets just clear of the centre circle, out in a bit of space, not really a whole lot of pressure going forward. He can actually size things up and deliver well going forward, rather than just the mongrel end over ender in a congested clearance. But not much in it. Really entertaining game, beautiful weather, 10 goals in the first quarter, really good game of footy.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Josh. Later on today, St Kilda and the Bulldogs do battle at Docklands. Drew Morfitt and Stan Alves to keep you across that, and the majority of you also to get the call of the vital game between West Coast and Collingwood at Subiaco later on today. 2 games in the National Rugby League today. The Warriors play the Sharks starting at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and then the 3 o'clock Eastern Time slot game is St George, Illawarra and Penrith. So that's to come later on today. But as the huddles break at quarter time, let's get some numbers on Adelaide's 15-point lead. Al.
Well, Q, the kick-to-handball ratio is interesting to look at. There's only a gap of 4 Brisbane's way in possessions, 95 to 91. The Lions have had 42 kicks and 53 hand passes, while the Crows are more kick-heavy, 62 kicks and 29 hand passes. The Crows lead the contested possession by 12, 44 to 32, and the clearances by 6, 14 to 8. Marks 27 to 21 in favour of the Crows, and the inside 50s 3 the way of the Crows, 16 to 13. Individually, Lions has had the most possessions on the ground with 9. Crouch has had 8 along with Lynch and Sloane. Dangerfield 7, and for the Lions 8 to Patfull, 8 to Gardner, 7s to Zorko, Mays, Martin, Robertson and Rockcliffe.
Thanks, Alistair. Perfect timing. Hooter sounds, and the umpire holds the ball aloft in preparation for the bounce to get the second term underway. Adelaide goes into it with a 15-point advantage. Jacobs and Martin, as has been the point throughout most of the day in the ruck, and Jacobs got the tap down. Dangerfield defensive side of the pack is dispossessed. Crisp wins it for Brisbane, 60 out. Hands it to Aish, he hands it to Hanley. Hanley is tackled by Henderson, threw it out towards the boundary line. And now Sloane's going to see it over, is he? No, he keeps it in, gave it to Jench, and Jench is dispossessed by Hanley. Hanley on the pocket, kicks towards the goal mouth, rolls through a number of players, picked up by Mays at Brisbane, and he snaps a goal. Well, it went wrong, all wrong for the Crows there. It looked like they were going to get out of trouble, and perhaps just bit off too much near the boundary line.
Yeah, I thought there was one handball too many already, Stars. They probably could have kicked it inside 50, but they're able to win the footy back and get it in there quickly, and Mays' snap was very clever, so really positive start.
Can I ask you a question as a ruckman? Even when you get a bad bounce, like Sam Jacobs, were you a hit back person or a hit forward person?
Oh, look, you're heavily relying on your mids to change the call up. I used to like to drop it just to the back, but very tight. I think if you put too much on it, clearly the momentum's going the opposition way.
That's what happened there. It just got over the back when Sam Jacobs hit it back.
Brisbane 5 straight, Adelaide 6-3.
Jacobs the tap. Dangerfield's there, but it's taken by Buick. It was almost a throw. Clearance for Aish. Lands in the arms of Crisp. 65 metres from goal. He's inside the centre square, wants to go by hand to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe measures his pass, and out comes Close and marks. 45 metres out, directly in front.
Gee, I like the way he goes at it with his hands, Stas and Josh. 2 men who have played in the forward line.
He's got a nice technique, isn't he? Gets on the move.
Arms look strong, don't they?
He, from all reports, has got some good endurance too. So to play any type of role down there, nowadays, no matter whether you're deep forward or half forward, you've got to have great endurance to be up and back and work your opponent over. But only a young fella, but some really good signs.
Close from 49 metres. It's drifting away to the right, and it's a minor score to the youngster. And the Lions with 1-1 to start the second term. The margin is back to 8 points, 2 minutes played of that term.
As the Crows drive it long from the kick in, it's a good kick, and McKay takes the mark. Brodie Smith with the inbound there, finds the target beyond defensive 50. Hand pass goes to Jench. Jench kicks it into the middle of the ground, marked by Jacobs, just shy of the bullseye. In the centre square, he hand passes to Brodie Smith. Smith's kick towards right, half forward as well, marked by Lynch. 60 from goal for Adelaide, out in the sunshine on the southern side. Lynch quickly back to the top of his mark, kicks inside 50 over the head of the lead of Jenkins. Justin Clark got a bit of a fist on it for Brisbane, and the Lions have the ball in the pocket. Buick under pressure. Hand passes not all that great. Into a 50-50, but Rockcliffe comes out with it for Brisbane. Hands it to McStay at defensive 50. He hands it to Hanley. Hanley runs over the boundary line. Hand passed it over as well.
Jeez, lucky.
And he is a bit lucky.
He might have been over the line already, Hugh, there, but...
throw in at right half forward for Adelaide, 60 from the Crows' goal. They're attacking the school end, which is the left of your radio dial in this second term.
How sweet was that kick from Brodie Smith to half forward before? Travelled so quickly. Dangerfield, hand pass out the back to Crouch. Crouch to Smith. How's he go this time? It's a ball to the pocket. Can someone mark? No. Fisting away from Lynch was Gardner over the boundary line for a throw-in 35 metres from goal.
Despite dealing with the heat when you come up to a Queensland day like this, I think the southern clubs come up and think, wow, great conditions. We haven't zipped the ball around like this for a couple of months. How good is it to play in these conditions? So there is that side of it that sort of balances things out a little bit.
Martin takes front position. Jacobs reach over the top. Limes, little kick around the corner. Lynch trying to impose. Walker, a hand to it. Taken out, was he? No, said the umpire. On the deck. Ball flips out. A chance here for the Crows. Martin flipped it out. Tackled was right. Jacobs by hand to Crouch. Outside the attacking 50 comes to Jensch. Loads up very long away to the left. A minor score to the Crows. They move to 6-4-40. The Lions of 5-1-31. 4 played in the second term on Grandstand AFL.
Guys, concern about Dane Zorko. Came from the field a moment ago. Left boot straight off and down into the sheds. I'll keep an eye on it.
Matt Webber on the boundary line. As the kick in to left half back is marked by Buick. That was a good contested mark. Just in from the boundary where the paint of 50 meets the paint of the boundary, where the old social club terraces once stood. Buick kicks around that portion of the ground and a sliding mark taken by Hanley. Low to the ground, close to the boundary at left half back.
Hard to remember what this place used to look like here, to be honest. But
I've got it imprinted in my brain of Jason Ackermanis running that right half forward flank. I'm sure Josh has as well. As Hanley goes long to true centre wing, off hands and over the boundary line. A couple of moments of Ackermanis and Voss and Lappin running that outer right half forward flank, Josh. You've got a wry smile.
Yeah. I've got images of it happening at Grand Final Day.
As if he was on the Greyhound track from back in the day, Q, which was also a prominent feature of this ground going back many years. Hanley lost the ball. Robertson diving in. Hanley lurking, trying to receive a hand pass, but it's Aish who gives it to Buick. His hand pass slapped down. Taken by Taylor. Did really well in the traffic. Hand pass over the top. Slapped the way of the Crows by Sloane. Cleaned up by Wright. He gets a defensive hand pass and the little kick. Not a great one. Martin chopped off by Martin, who dribbles it towards goal. End over end away to the left from about 50 metres out. Not sure what Brodie Martin was trying to do with his cute little chip pass. The margin is back to 8 points at the 5-minute mark.
Stephen Martin could have got a gig in a Michael Jackson film clip with those moves, though. The big man just weaving through traffic as the Crows from the kick-in have quickly worked it to the middle of the ground. And a driving ball from Lions puts Adelaide inside attack again, but Walker's caught behind. Hatch's ball gets a fortuitous bounce, and on the left he snaps on goal from 40 and misses. Through for a behind. Adelaide 6-5-41, Brisbane 5-2-32.
Gee, Eddie Betts looks out of sorts to me. He doesn't look anywhere near. Well, he's not having the impact he probably should, but he's always 3 to 4 metres off the initial contest. He just can't get himself involved.
Rockcliffe marked the kick in, goes in the Merritt direction. Nice pass. He marks in front of Talia at right half back. Now it's been struggling to impose, at least in the right way in recent weeks. He imposed heavily on Cam Pedersen last week. Maguire, hand pass to Patfull, defensively to Rockcliffe, just controls it, sits it up for Mays, got a hand to it, couldn't mark. Under some pressure there from McKay, it goes out of play and will be thrown in on the Vulture Street wing.
The key there, Al, is that Daniel Merritt, while he hasn't had a lot of the footy, he's got the best defender. So he's taken Daniel Talia away from potentially a Michael Close or someone like that.
Yeah, it's a good point, Craig. Thrown back in centre wing. Jacobs another tap, but it's Aish at the fall, tackled by Crouch. That's a throw, surely. Not paid by the umpire. Betts has got it. Hand pass out for Dangerfield. He tries to stride away from them. He kicks for the pocket. Walker playing in front was held by the jumper and Clark fisted over the boundary line. Where was the free kick there? A throw in 20 metres from goal.
I think the field umpire was on the good side for Justin Clark then, Josh. He was just probably didn't see the jumper move like El did and we did.
So the ball to be tossed in the left forward pocket for Adelaide. The Crows lead the game by 9 points. Jacobs getting first hand regularly now. That flipped to the advantage side, but no one there. Zorko's back out there, so his ankle must be okay. He hand passes towards Green. Green was held without it, gets a cheap free kick at half back, and he decides to bound away quickly. His kick to the outer side has Buick in space. Markson has a bounce, runs to the logo, kicks to half forward, where the mark is taken by Maguire. What is he doing at left half forward? Matt Maguire. He's got a big shoe on him as well. Winds up from 60 hits the post. The veteran had visions of glory there, all bar the woodwork.
We saw him kick one from exactly the same spot against the Suns a few weeks back. He nearly did it again.
I think he was saying, Quentin, this is what I'm doing from left half forward. Thank you very much. That would have been some goal.
Oh, and a torpedo.
That is
high
a monster.
and long, 80 metres up to the bullseye with the restart.
Patfull spoiled it back the Lions' way, but Dangerfield was there. He gave to Crouch by hand, to Sloane by hand. He's in trouble, but he manages to get his hand pass away to McKay, who's gone. That is holding the ball every day of the week. Great tackle from Harwood. And Harwood now moves it quickly. Taking the mark at left half forward for the Lions is Rockcliffe, who's starting to get a fair bit of it. This for possession number 12. 65 out, goes to the lead. No mark taken. Close is out after it, though. He can't gather. It was taken there by McKay. He hand passed back into the traffic, and they all converge around it on the 50, and the umpire will throw it in the air.
Was that Andy Otten with the bomb out of fullback? Who got onto that one? It was a...
I must admit, I didn't see, but...
I was watching the ball in flight. Crows are underneath the restart at half back, but a bomb kicks a half forward, ends up in the hands of Maguire, who marks uncontested for Brisbane. He kicks to the wing, might just roll out of bounds in front of Lou Taylor, but the little man gets there in time. He's got the footy. Now he's closed down by McKay. Hand passes to Mays. Tries to take on Yench. Good tackle around the hips from Yench. Mays just throws out an indiscriminate hand pass, and the Crows come up with it. Brodie Smith under pressure. Hands it to Jenkins on the wing. He kicks Adelaide from halfway to half forward. Cameron flies. Couldn't take the mark, but he bounds up with a footy and then ran into a brick wall in Clark. He kept going though, Cameron. Kicked it off the ground. Now coming out, Lynch gives away a free kick, surely. Oh, he ducked his head into that. And he'll get a cheap one here. This is the new interpretation that the umpires are getting right half the time and wrong the rest. He's hurt, Tom Lynch. He bent over to pick up the ball, and then he had a decision as to whether to keep the head up and keep the head down. He decided to go down, got hurt, and got a free kick for it.
I was initially going to argue with that one with the cue, but you're spot on. So you got it right. You're the pro. But he went down to pick the ball up, and I thought, well, geez, you're a bit hard on him because he had to bend down to get it. But
no,
he did.
His head was coming up, and then he made the decision to burrow his head down.
And went down again, spot on.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he's now in a lot of trouble. He is hurt. And that's why the rule change is a good one, because here is a man who's got the kick for burrowing his head, albeit a wrong call, but the rule makers have said, we don't want players doing that.
Stretcher, Quentin.
And...
I just hope he's all right now, to be honest.
Well, here's a big tick for the Rules Committee. This is why they've changed the rule, Josh. No, he gets the free kick, albeit an incorrect call under the modern interpretation, but they don't want players thinking, I'll burrow my head to get a cheap kick.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. It's something you don't want to see in the game. And unfortunately, when these types of rules are brought into focus, players will look for ways to exploit them, and if it means ducking your head to win a free kick, that's what most players will do, even at the expense of an injury. And let's hope that this isn't too bad.
The concern is here with this one, without being alarmist, is that he's conscious by the looks of things, but he's...
he doesn't want to move, does he?
Yeah, so, you know...
He would have a lot of medical staff around him telling him not to move. I would think they'd be saying just stay there and let's get you off the ground and assess you rather than try and do anything out on the field.
Particularly the nature of how it unfolded there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's moving his legs, so that's a good sign. He's helped by the trainers to move his legs, but he was moving them of his own accord. And there are 6 trainers around Tom Lynch.
I did take notice of Taylor Walker just moving himself over to where the free kick was given and found himself with the footy in hand, so I wonder who's going to take the kick. But
and don't take it for not showing any empathy in the description of what unfolded there. It was just a matter of, there's the perfect example of why the laws have been changed in this regard.
Well, you know, a lot of it is to protect the head of the player, isn't it? I mean, and some of it's self-inflicted, like that was, but at the end of the day, right across the board, it's protecting the head.
did, just looking on the replay, it almost looked like the player coming at him, his arm, there was a little hole between the arm and the torso, and almost as though he was trying to get the head in under there, maybe trying to break the tackle. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind pointing out too, in a split-second decision that you've got to make out there, when you've got someone coming towards you,
it's instinctive.
It's instinctive to go down lower. Again, more often than not to the detriment of your safety, but I wouldn't say that was a deliberate ploy to draw a free kick. I think his instincts kicked in and he went lower, and that's the result.
How can I get out of this?
Absolutely, yeah.
The only hole, as Al said, might have been the one under the arm of the guy coming towards him.
Keep your head up, and you're going to wear it front on, face on, and that'll result in other potential injuries.
And his arms are moving, just to add further good news for Tom Lynch, as he's now lifted by the Adelaide medical team and will be put on the Medicab. And I wonder who was closest to take this kick on goal, because that's the other thing that will happen shortly.
The huddle's just broken. Both camps formed a huddle, and the Crows forming one about 50 metres away from where Tom Lynch is being lifted and is about to be put on the Medicab. But Taylor Walker was the first to break from that huddle and start marching straight back over towards the football. He's going to make this his own.
Now, assuming that Tom Lynch is not in a great way, in terms of setups for Adelaide now, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, now you got Walker down there. Now they've got to play one of the ruckmen down there permanently, you would have thought. So it's interesting to see how that's going to pan out.
Unsurprisingly, guys, Mitch Grigg has taken off the vest too. He's entered the fray, just ran on in front of me now.
So he's already on.
He's already on.
So
there was quite a heated discussion down here among the officials from Adelaide and the AFL match officials as well. I'm not entirely sure how anyone knew how to handle this particular situation, but Mitch Grigg on the field now as I speak.
So Tom Lynch is on the Medicab, and they're just ensuring that he's strapped in and okay before they get the golf cart moving to escort him from the Gabba. And let's hope he's okay.
Yeah, so presumably Grigg is allowed on the ground because it's essentially a concussion issue initially for Lynch before they decide whether he needs to put the red vest on when he goes off the field.
20 minutes? Is that correct?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah. And he's got his hand to his face, so certainly movement's not a problem. His arms and legs, which is good news for anyone that's been in a collision of such where his head and neck was jarred terribly. But as expected, the neck brace is on, and Tom Lynch is being driven from the ground. So we hope that he is okay.
Disappointing for him, guys, as well, because he hasn't had a lot of opportunity to play footy for the Crows this year after, as earlier I was saying, last year kicked 33, was their leading goal kicker, and he'd only played the handful of games, eighth game of the season, and he kicked 2 today as well and was looking like a bit of a target up there for them. So straight down the rooms, and you'd be surprised if he could return.
And it will be Walker to take the free kick. So after all of that, Walker's got a shot on goal for Adelaide to give the Crows a 14-point lead. He's nursed that just to the left, just sort of leant back on that a little, didn't really drive it through, and it's missed to the left as a consequence. Adelaide 6-6-42, Brisbane 5-3-33.
Quick kick in from Harwood was a beauty, Craig. Did you notice that?
Have
some faith, son.
I did.
Taken by Hanley at left half back.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Chip over the top to Rockcliffe. I think you were right, mate. Rockcliffe in the sunshine on the Stanley Street side, calling for a lead.
The coaches know. They know who their kick-in people are, so we'll back them for Ryan Harwood.
Short pass to Hanley. I looked across at Craig for a grin to see that he was taking it as a joke, but I didn't see it. I saw that Steely Starcevic look, turnover in the middle, right goes inside 50. Betts was crunched and will get the free kick against Harwood, directly in front, 40 metres from goal. Gee, there's some good atmosphere in this game today.
Isn't it nice to hear the Lions fans getting angry again?
And no shortage of Crows fans here either, with a few decisions not going their way. We've heard a bit of noise.
Is that the first time he's been a hit-up target today, Josh?
Yeah, I think it might be Stars. I think the free kick was there, but gee, you just love to see him plunk those marks, I think. There's
really only his third touch.
Yeah, quality small forward. You love to see him actually take those, but free kick was there. He's got a shot on goal.
Skipping in, kicking from 45 metres, Eddie Betts. That's a lovely finish. Betts has now got 40 for the season. It's been pretty effective in his first year with the Crows. His best year at the Blues was a 50-goal season in 2011, so he's even in the twilight of his career perhaps capable of breaking that season best of 50, and the margin now is 15 to the Adelaide Crows. 17 played second term, 7-6-48 to 5-3-33.
They've now got a very short forward line, haven't they, outside of Taylor Walker down there, so when you look across that group of 6, it's quite short. No other tools down there, and it might actually change the way they go inside their forward 50 now, Josh.
Well, with Jenkins in the ruck and Jacobs off, I think it could work in their favour. If they can get some speed on the game and get it in quickly, they might be really lively.
Centre bounce, and Douglas got it, but Rockcliffe got him as soon as the ball was in the hands of Rich Douglas, and we'll have another restart in the bullseye. Sun beating down on this glorious Sunday on Grandstand AFL. Crows lead it by 15 points midway through the second term. From the secondary restart, Hanley comes away for Brisbane, finds some space, kicks inside 50, just misses the lead of the forwards initially, but coming out Freeman, he weaves around one on Deboo. Oh, Jono, you've had a bad moment there. He got himself that precious moment to kick his first goal in league footy, but shinned it off the instep, out of bounds on the full in the left forward pocket.
How good was the first moment? Yeah. The second moment, the evasion initially, but
he looked like he knew what he was doing up until when he kicked it, but good sign for him.
Ball's at half-back for the Crows. Zorko pounces on it. Hand pass over the top to Mays near the boundary. Back inside he goes to Harwood by hand. He's going to come to the edge of the square. Good kick for Martin. 2 kicks from goal. Martin inside the 50, and Ace goes up. Couldn't quite take the mark. The Crows unable to clear it immediately as a pack forms around the ball, and it'll be thrown up 45 metres out directly in front.
Not sure it was a great option there. Steph Martin going to James Ace surrounded by 3 opposition defenders, but no great harm done.
Ball thrown in the air. Steph Martin got a hand, but cleared out of the congestion by the Crows. The advantage of the jet shoes of Cameron, who runs towards the wing for Adelaide. Kicks it up and under towards Walker at half forward. One-on-one goes beyond the pack, but Walker's there to butter up on the bounce. He hand passes to Brodie Martin, who's in the right forward pocket. He's kicked it on the near side. And a minor score to Adelaide. Crows 7-7-49. Lions 5-3-33.
Oh, dangerous kick in from Patfull. Not good execution. A floater intended for Chris, but Smith was able to get the spoil and keep it inside 50. It'll be thrown in.
While we're on about kick-in stars, I'm just glad it's not a midfielder going down there and kicking to himself to stat up. That's one of my pet hates of the game.
Thrown in. Crows trying to find another goal as it's slapped back over the boundary line in front of Grigg, who's on the field with Lynch taken off after a nasty collision. He was taken off on a stretcher. Boundary umpire stands on the intersection of the boundary and the 50-metre line. Throw-in favoured. Martin took it out of the ruck, and then he's pinged for holding the ball because he didn't get a kick, did he? Well, it looked like he got a bit of shoot to it. It's gone out of play, and it'll be a free kick to Jenkins when the ball is returned from outside the boundary line. Jenkins, 60 out, wants to play on, wants to thump it to the teeth of goal. Walker's nice and deep in a wrestle, allowing a path through again for Martin to take the mark. Walker just held up his defender, didn't even lift the arms in the air to try and mark it because Martin just came through, filled the hole, took the mark, 25 out, almost directly in front.
He didn't lift his arms because I thought they were pretty well held onto, so if it wasn't going to be a mark, I think potentially a free kick, but really aggressive kick inside 50 from Jenkins, and again putting the young Lions defenders under pressure.
Brodie Martin kicking to the western end to give the Crows a 22-point lead. He skips, he strikes, he scores. And the Crows doing pretty nicely here. They've kicked 2 goals to the Lions, 1 in this second term, and it's 8-7-55 to 5-3-33. 21 played in the second quarter.
You're right about that, Josh. Jenkins quickly taking the free kick, rolling on quickly and popping it to the top of the goal square. It has done and always will do, put opposition defenders under pressure just to get it in there quickly. Everyone's one out. Obviously the target's big Walker. Gives an opportunity for someone else to float across the front of that contest and do exactly what Brodie Martin did.
And on the replay, Walker was never going for that mark. It was a very well communicated passage of football up forward from the Crows.
He's played a pretty smart game, Walker, today. Not a huge impact on the scoreboard, but he's done some really important things in that forward 50.
Bounce was a shocker. We'll have it thrown up in the middle of the ground.
Sorry, Kerry. I'm just looking at Tex. He loves... I'm watching him organise things down there as well. He just loves being in control of that forward line for Adelaide.
Jenkins taps down, but Robertson roves for Brisbane. He hand passes to Merritt, who's in the middle. He kicks long inside 50. At the back of the pack, a mark to Luke Thompson of Adelaide. A well-judged defender's mark as the ball had good distance on it from the middle of the ground. Thompson's kick very wide to the right half-back flank, marked by Andy Otten, beyond defensive 50, and the sunshine on the outer side. Glorious Sunday for Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio, News Radio and Grandstand Digital, and around the world on the web and your apps, however you're listening. Just a terrific day for footy as Otten goes long to a pack on the wing, and off hands it goes over the boundary line near the interchange gates. We'll see a throw in with Adelaide leading by 22 points after they led by 15 at quarter time. We're 23 minutes into the second term.
Merritt and Jacobs. Merritt perhaps the tap. At the back, crashing in Zorko's tackled. It came to Rockford. He gave a hand pass to Buick. Did well in the traffic. Got it onto the left shoe. Kicks inside the 50. There's a big push put on close by Thompson. And he goes back and cleans up. A hand pass to Henderson. Henderson 20 metres out from the goals he's defending. Wheels around and kicks to the corridor. A poor kick. Patful will mark for the Lions. 65 out. He can go to half forward. Crisp is the target. He's still too far out. Hand pass over the top to Zorko. Zorko tries to balk round Jenkins but can't. He chips back and Buick marks. Buick still just too far out to score. Crisp is on, but he goes back to the middle for McStay. They're going to come round the cape, the Lions, as McStay goes out to the edge of the square. Maguire over the top to Gardner. Gardner hand pass over the top to Robertson. Not a good one. He's under pressure. He's tackled. He should be called for holding the ball, and he must be. And he is the victim of a very poor hand pass. Free kick to the Crows on the edge of defensive 50 to be taken by Martin.
And he gets up and dishes it quickly to Lyons, who's at right half back for Adelaide. He kicks it to the wing. That's a poor kick. There was space there for Grigg, and it didn't find the target. And in the end, it bounces in front of Grigg and over the line.
Guys, I know you've been talking about what a beautiful day it is for football. Gee, some of these players are looking tired as they run to the interchange bench, and if there's ever an indication of heat, the Brisbane Lions have rolled out the big industrial fan as well, so it's pretty warm down here.
Matt Webber on the boundary with a keen observation. Jacobs taps down. Lyons roves, hands it to Sloan. Under pressure, gets a kick towards half forward for Adelaide. But it's Brisbane's ball, won by Maguire. His hand pass bounced in front of McStay, who couldn't pick up first time, but Patful helps out. Gives to McStay, to Maguire, to Harwood, all by hand. And now to Robertson, who kicks from left half back for Brisbane towards the wing. Over the hands of Close it goes. Green, though, roving near the boundary line. He toes it 30 metres upfield to his own advantage. Can he regather? No, the whitewash beats him. Oh, gee, there was a bit of Alf Langer at Lang Park about that. The little grubber and chase through from Josh Green. But the boundary line got in the way. Throw in 40 from Brisbane's goal. They're attacking the western end. Haven't kicked a goal since the opening moments of this term. Adelaide leads by 22 points.
Speed of Josh Green's legs could just about power that industrial fan, I reckon, when they get going. They're motoring. Walker's got it and he shrugs a tackle on the wing in front of the interchange. Kicks to half forward. Not a great kick. McStay playing in front of Cameron. Goes to ground. No free kick. Cameron's got it, 55 out. Sweeps a defensive hand pass to Walker. Walker squares it up towards Talia. He marks 54 metres out. On a 45-degree angle, wants to square it up. Yench on the front point of the square. Marks plays on around the man on the mark. Martin drives it long from 52 metres. What a magnificent finish. Yench has kicked the goal. And the Crows are out by 28. 5-3-33 the Lions, 9-7-61. 26 played second term on Grandstand AFL.
The impressive thing there, Josh, was when Jens took the mark, he knew that the player that was going to stand the mark was big Steph Martin. Yep. So he, Daniel Talia looked sideways across the ground, found Jens. He knew he had Stephen Martin on the mark and he was never going to be able to stand and stop him, so he just quickly turned on back inside and finished from just outside the 50.
So an important move for Adelaide. They've kicked the last 3 goals in the game. Biggest lead of the contest, 28 points. Restart in the middle. Jacobs with clean possession for the Crows. Whacks it on his boot. Bumbling ball towards half forward. Bounces to the advantage of the left foot there on goal. Has gone out of bounds on the full.
Grigg
it was, the sub, who's on at the moment with Tom Lynch being evaluated. So out of bounds Free kick to Brisbane in the right back pocket. Or a dangerous kick. The inbound was hoping for Stephen Martin, but Jenkins ball. Betts Roves. He hand passes to Richard Douglas. Shimmies once. Got tackled by the shorts, but still got a kick on goal, which is a point. And that looked like a bad moment for Brisbane. It only cost them a behind.
Just losing their composure, the Lions, at the moment. I think at the moment Adelaide have got more players taking responsibility with ball in hand, and the Lions are just losing their way a little bit. They just need some of their senior boys to step up now and steer the last 5.5 minutes through to half-time.
Griggs got it near the boundary line at half-forward. To the pocket for Cameron. Did it go out of play? Yes, it did. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Lions. And it's quickly taken. Hanley's pass. Found a teammate in Martin by hand to Adcock. 40 metres from the goals he's defending. Nice outletting kick. Marked by Buick at right half-back. Buick's looking back towards the corridor, and the kick is poor. It's going to bounce to Harwood, who gathers and hand passes backwards to Hanley. Hanley out to the Stanley Street side with another nice pass, and Mays will take the mark, defensive side of the wing.
I think Adelaide sense that now, Al, that the Lions are looking shaky coming out of defence, and they're ready to pounce on any possibility of a turnover.
Mays shorts it to Robertson, who kicks from the boundary line inboard to Martin. Steph Martin of Brisbane, just forward of left half-back.
It's a lot slower now, by the looks of things, too.
And he has to bomb long. Towards half-forward, a big pack of players underneath. Zorko Rose for Brisbane, 70 out. His kick, one-on-one to Green. He just wants to get the ball to the drop at the back of the pack. Does so, shoots it through. That is clever small forward play from Josh Green. Never tried to take the mark. Wanted it to get over the pack, to use his fleet of foot, both without the ball and then with the one-time strike on goal. And a much-needed goal for Brisbane. Adelaide 9-8-62. Green's second takes Brisbane to 6-3-39.
We've got to play it down here, guys. You've probably got a good shot of his number. I can't. His face is buried in his hands in a lot of pain. Right knee, it looks like.
It's Andy Otten, yeah. Another stretcher out on the field.
Yeah, this is a bad one by the looks of things.
If it wasn't impressive enough for Adelaide coming to play in the sunshine of the day here, it could be two men down before half-time.
Looks like a lower leg injury.
No, that was from that massive pack.
Yeah,
that was
Merritt absolutely crunched the pack.
It was one of the old big man fly packs, and we're getting a replay of it now. And it had nothing to do with the collision. He was trying to prop on his right foot to steady himself for that pack, and he felt his lower right leg go before the ball arrived, wasn't it?
Ankle or knee?
That to me would suggest ankle stars, wouldn't it? And I can see a trainer holding his ankle at the bottom end of the stretcher.
A lower leg type. It didn't look like he rolled his ankle.
No, it's weird, isn't it?
Well, you can get up and walk off the ground with a rolled ankle.
That's right, yeah, which makes me a little bit concerned that it could be that lower leg part, which...
Well, they've got the knee bent at about 45 degrees, yeah, so it looks like they're protecting the knee as well there.
And he's got his hands in his face, Matt.
He's looking at a lot of distress, that's for sure. They're trying to stabilise that lower leg, as you say. I wonder if he's fractured it, actually. I don't want to be alarmist, but the instantaneous pain he felt, it looked pretty ugly.
Well, there's no contact from anyone else, was there, at that point? So
he looks pretty composed if it's a fracture. He hasn't got a whistle or anything, so let's hope it's only a rolled ankle. And
he's just setting himself to get involved in that marking contest, and then sort of fell away to the side as he, as Quentin said, tried to prop and get into that pack.
Well, this will be the longest quarter time elapsed, I'd reckon, of the year with two stretches.
Well, we've still got 4 minutes of playing time to go and 31.5 minutes on the clock, so it could be 38 minutes. More.
And with the conditions, rotations might play a factor too in this second half. So if Brisbane can finish this quarter off well and give themselves a chance, clearly we don't know the makeup of Adelaide's outfit in the second half just yet.
Jacobs the tap. Dangerfield couldn't take it. Sloane did. He's tackled, and the non-officiating umpire has spotted a high tackle, which was probably there. And it'll be taken by Sloane in the centre square. Sloane's playing a good game. Possession number 12. Drives long inside the 50. Walker coming to the front. Couldn't get a hand to it. At the back, right roves, right dribbles, right goals. From 20 metres out, right place, right time, Matt Wright. That's just right for the Adelaide Crows, and their lead is 29 points again. 10-8-68 to 6-3-39. 32 minutes played, second term on Grandstand AFL.
That hurts Stars, doesn't it, for the Lions? You want to make the most of your momentum, and off the back of Josh Green's goal, you'd love to have thought that they could get the next clearance and maybe just get themselves going again. But terrific reply from the Crows, just keeping that buffer.
Just looking at the way Taylor Walker went for that marking contest, did he sort of help it on its way a bit too for his small forwards running onto the footy? So again, we spoke about him being unselfish and setting things up and doing the little things. Might have been another one of those.
And Tom Lynch, as we thought, now confirmed as out of the game.
Another pretty ordinary bounce in the centre. Adelaide gets the clearance towards half forward, and there's Taylor Walker tapping to advantage again, but the bounce evades Brodie Martin. Chance for Brisbane to clear. It comes through Harwood. His hand pass old Adcock a dump. Great tackle from Sloan. Betts with a lightning hand pass to McKay. In tight, gave it to Jenkins. Back to Betts. Back to Sloan. Sloan snaps without great purchase on the kick, but it rolls through the desired hole. And another goal for the Crows. Sloan's first of the day. That's 11 for the Adelaide Crows. 11-8-74. Play 6-3-39. A telling move from the Crows in this second term. A lead now of 35 points before half-time.
Happening out of the middle, Stars a little bit, isn't it? They're able to get the ball forward, and the forward line's functioning pretty well. We've spoken about Taylor Walker just having some important moments, but Betts are starting to get busy. The midfielders, the momentum of the ball coming out of the centre, the midfielders are finding himself in front of goal, and Sloan with a terrific finish there. So they're looking really dangerous now, the Crows. 26-14, the Crows lead the clearances. And who's run in off the square for a free kick for some holding on? It was again the umpire 50 metres away that paid it. It's going to go to Martin. He hand passes to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe wants to thump it long inside the 50. Buick back with a flight. Couldn't get a hand to it. Smith does well. Palms it back. Thompson hand passes back to Smith. Now Smith will clear the immediate danger. Merritt's well placed and takes the mark. No, dropped it. Edged out his opponent Lyons, who now runs away with the ball. Kicks into the middle over the head of Dangerfield, and Robertson came at it hard. Dangerfield falls over. Robertson looking for a target. He's way too slow.
Taylor Walker from behind. Great tackle.
And now the Crows on the burst as Dangerfield spots up Cameron 40 metres out.
Wow, Keith Forward winning a turnover with a tackle, defensive side of the centre circle.
Cameron chip over the top, poor marking. Crouch will mark, no one on the mark, and play on from 25 out and miss. He misses on the right-hand side, and the margin is 37 points to the Crows at the 35-minute mark. 36 points.
It's a shame, really, isn't it, after rightly putting out there, Taylor Walker's great tackle through the middle of the ground.
Brisbane need the half-time siren. As a chip ball from Martin to the pocket looking for Buick. Dropped the mark. McKay gathers for the Crows, and his kick back to attacking 50 is marked by Douglas. Right on the paint of 50. 45 degrees to the left of centre. Well, how do you tell the story of this quarter for Adelaide with two key men off for the day, it seems, Lynch and Otten, but they've kicked 5 goals to 2 and a chance for a 6th here to turn a 15-point advantage to, well, a 6-goal lead at the moment.
It's almost inspired them, hasn't it? Yeah, the way they've played in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
This would take his best, I would have thought, outside 50.
Runner-up in the best and fairest last year. He won that accolade in 2010. Richard Douglas doesn't have the journey with that kick to a big pack in the square, and it's fisted through for a rush behind. The lead is 37 points, 11-10, 76 to 6-3-39.
Hanley's going to kick in. He goes short to the pocket, and the umpire wants him to do that again.
Got a nice lead at there. Someone going off for blood there by the looks. Goose Maguire, but interesting, a real test of your rotational abilities on and off the bench now for the second half. Got a nice little lead coming into half time by the looks of things, the Crows, but you've only got 2 fit bodies to rotate through. So.
Yeah, you think that would be an important factor of the lead right now, Stars, the ability to actually put some scoreboard pressure on and give themselves that buffer, because it certainly does impact you when you've got 2 players down. Just that ability to rotate, the fatigue will set in late in the game.
Players who play at opposite ends of the ground, but also players with a similar size and shape. There's the clearing kick. Good mark in the pack to Merritt.
Unfortunately,
takes the mark.
In the rotation, so you haven't cost yourself a runner, have you? You've got 2 key possession players.
I think the load still goes onto your mids, though. I think just by virtue of not having that extra 2 players, you'll still feel the load through the middle part of the ground.
Yep. Dangerous kick from Hanley. It came off as Gardner went hard at it and marked, and hand passes back to Hanley on defensive 50. He's not sure what to do. In the end, a good option. He finds Patfull. Still inside the defensive 50, which stays on over the top at right half back on the Vulture Street side. Awaits the lead, and he'll kick it to Robertson. Robertson in front. It just hung in the air a little bit. Easy pickings for Dangerfield to fist it over the line for a throw in centre wing. A 37-point lead to the Crows. The quarter has gone for 37 minutes and 40 seconds. Still got a minute of playing time to go. 2 Crows stretch it off in this term. Lynch and Otten palmed down by Martin. Straight though to Douglas. Douglas tumble punts forward. Gets past Walker on the bounce. Betts is there. He goes to ground. He soccers off the ground though as he gets up. It's going towards goal. It's taken a leg break. Oh, what a goal from Eddie Betts. Looked like it was going to miss. Bent back. It was the Chinaman more than the leg break. The left to right has gone through. From 40 metres out, he sockered that Eddie Betts after he'd gone to ground under pressure from Patfull, got back up quickly, got it onto it again. And the Crows are out by 43 at the 38.5 minute mark of the term. 12-10-82 to 6-3-39.
It's soccering the ball from a long way out from goal, isn't it? That's quite a bit of luck involved there, but if anyone can create his own luck, it's Eddie Betts. So, from 35, 40 metres out, soccer off the ground. I remember David King doing one of those that Eddie had one day against the Lions from outside the 50, I reckon it was, soccering the ball and getting it through.
Well, centre bounce, Dangerfield runs onto it. He has a kick from 60 towards an open goal mouth. Oh, it beat Merritt's fingers. It went through for a point, though. I don't think the reaching defender got a hand on that. So luckily it didn't go through the major opening from Brisbane's perspective. That could have been another for the Crows. 44 points is the lead. 12-11. Play 6-3. The kick in is a shocker. Luckily the fisted spoil goes towards the boundary line, but it's kept in by Cameron of Adelaide. Walker's there under pressure, couldn't keep it in. And we'll see a throw in the left forward pocket for the Crows. Terrific turn from the visitors. 6 goals to 2 to turn a 15-point quarter-time lead into a 43-point advantage with the half-time siren imminent. But they have lost 2 players. They might get one late. Jacobs around the ruck contest. Got it back. Almost got a kick on goal. Was dispossessed. Steph Martin kicks the Lions out of danger, and that's time. The long break at the Gabba. And Adelaide, after a 6-3-4 straight opening term, kicks 6-7 to 2-3 in the second quarter to lead by 43 points at half-time on a hot day in Brisbane. Adelaide 12 goals 10, 82. Brisbane 6 goals 3, 39. And outside of the scoreboard, the concern for the Crows is Tom Lynch stretched from the ground with an apparent neck injury, and Andy Otten also stretched from the ground with what looked like a lower right leg injury. So there are a couple of men down, the Crows, but if they are to be chased down, at least I've got a good few lengths on the field at the halfway point of the game. The goals for the Crows. Betts has 2. Lynch, before leaving the ground, had 2. Singles, 2. Sloan, Wright, Walker, Jacobs, Dangerfield, Smith, Martin, and one
has
down.
2.
Martin has 2.
Yep.
Rhodey Martin. Thanks, Al. Ordered on the run. And the 6 for Brisbane. Green has 2. Crisp has 2. McStay has 1. And Mays has 1.
Crows kicked 7 goals to 1 from the 17-minute mark of that term until 39 minutes of play. But in a half of a quarter, they've kicked 7 just to blow the game wide open.
And Lynch went off at the...
It was about the 15-minute mark?
Yeah, around then.
So after
and then Andy Otten about half an hour in.
After that point, they've kicked 7 goals to 1.
Yep. Yeah, when Lynch went off, I'm pretty sure there was an 8-point lead to Brisbane at that time, and Taylor Walker missed the kick on goal, which made it a 9-point lead. But then
Betts started that run only a minute or 2 later.
It's almost inspired them, hasn't it? Tom Lynch going off for some bizarre reason. 7 goals to 1. They've been outstanding.
Well, outside of the injuries, how else have they done it? Stas, Josh?
just winning all the contested ball, aren't they? They're just absolutely smashing Brisbane. Contested possessions up by 26, clearances up by 14, double the clearances, tackles up by 10, just winning all that contested play.
I reckon, I'll get the hit-out stat for you, Josh, but I think Jacobs has been getting his first hand a lot in the middle.
Has, and that's going to happen. I mean, he's a quality ruckman. I think the Brisbane midfielders need to take more responsibility in there. I mean, you tend to start setting up a bit more defensively, wouldn't you, Stars?
32 to 15.
Yeah, so that's a good share of the ball. But, again, I think the Brisbane Lions, with their better players, are probably around the footy a bit more, so you'd like to think they set up a bit more defensively and be aware of that. But, they haven't got anything out of Merritt. We know he's taken a key defender, but he really hasn't provided much at all. Adcock's had a quiet game, I thought. Dane Zorko's had 11 touches, but he just hasn't been able to impact the way we probably become accustomed to for a young player. So they've got some upside, the Lions, but at the moment, Adelaide's key players are playing well, and I like the fact they're taking responsibility, in crucial moments, whether it's to kick a goal or take a mark or lay a tackle or whatever it is. They've got the players at the moment that are standing up.
Thank you, gentlemen. Craig Starcevich and Josh Fraser with you at half-time here at the Gabba. Adelaide leads by 43 points. Later on in the day, it's St Kilda and the Bulldogs and West Coast and Collingwood. The scores service coming from Drew Morfitt and Stan Alves at Docklands when that game gets underway in about 50 minutes from now. And if you're with us on the majority of the network, you'll be able to hear West Coast and Collingwood in full in the eastern twilight slot. So I'd imagine it'll be pretty warm in Perth today as well for a 2:40 start local time for West Coast versus Collingwood. If you aren't in the part of the world where you're hearing that on your radio, of course, anytime you want to hear a game, jump on the Grandstand website for the links to the AFL web streams, and you can also hear that on the AFL apps on your smartphones. Just look for the ABC logo to hear the call anytime, anywhere to tune in this round 20 of football in the 2014 season on Grandstand AFL. But we'll take a break here at half-time as the Auskick kids literally and figuratively get their moment in the sun. Beautiful Sunday afternoon to have someone take your picture in years to come, look back and say, yeah, I had a kick on the Gabba that day. And what a beautiful scene it is here. Adelaide 12-10-82. Brisbane 6-3-39. More to come in the second half here in Brisbane, but for the time being, let's go to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Candice Marcus. The US military says it has carried out 4 new airstrikes on militants to defend civilians in northern Iraq. Peter Simpson reports.
The US Central Command says jet fighters and drones have destroyed military vehicles that were firing on members of the Yazidi community. Thousands of civilians from the sect fled into the mountains after Islamic State militants overran the town of Sinjar a week ago. This is the third round of US airstrikes since they were authorised by President Barack Obama. He says the US, with help from its European allies and Iraqi forces, will break the siege of Mount Sinjar. But he says Iraqis must unite to defeat the Islamic State, formerly known as ISIS.
All Iraqi communities are ultimately threatened by these barbaric terrorists, and all Iraqi communities need to unite to defend their country.
Earlier strikes also targeted militant forces threatening the Kurdish city of Erbil, where US personnel are based.
An aid worker with Amnesty International, Donatella Rivera, says thousands of people on the north and west sides of the mountain have managed to escape, but those on the southern side have no way out.
They are telling us that they are being threatened by ISIS militants who, they say, have given an ultimatum to people up to 300 families in 2 villages that they have until tomorrow to either convert or they will be attacked and killed.
Both sides in the Gaza conflict are warning that planned talks on a new ceasefire are in jeopardy. Israel says discussions due to take place in Cairo in the coming hours can only go ahead if Hamas stops firing rockets. The Palestinians insist they will only take part in indirect talks if Israel stops setting conditions. A senior Palestinian politician, Dr. Mustafa Barghouti, says Israel is not actually offering a full ceasefire.
Hamas did not reject ceasefire. It rejected a situation where there will be a unilateral ceasefire where Palestinians would abstain from any form of resistance and Israel would maintain the right to bombard Gaza with their airplanes and to fly their airplanes over Gaza and sometimes to assassinate Palestinian leaders.
Homicide detectives are investigating an apparent murder-suicide that followed the wounding of a couple at their home in northern Victoria. Stephanie Ferrier reports.
Police discovered the body of a woman and a man at a rural property in Murrabit West around 4:20 this morning. It's thought the man killed the woman and then turned the gun on himself. Police had gone to his house after he'd earlier confronted his ex-wife at her nearby Kerrang home and shot her in the neck and hand. Her husband was also shot in the shoulder when he wrestled with the gunman. Inspector Jamie Templeton says teenage children witnessed the attack.
Yeah, that whole situation was extremely nasty and no doubt it was horrifying for the family.
Police say the gunman didn't have any prior record of family violence and his motive is still a mystery.
The lawyer for a man who is a person of interest in a triple murder cold case in Queensland says police haven't provided any new evidence against his client. Vincent O'Dempsey was arrested during a drug raid in Warwick in southeast Queensland yesterday, but was released without being charged. The 75-year-old has been wanted for questioning over the 1974 disappearance of Barbara McCulkin and her daughters Vicky and Leanne after new developments in the case. His lawyer Terry O'Gorman says there isn't a proper case against him and Mr O'Dempsey maintains his innocence.
Well, if the police have new evidence in the McCulkin case, they certainly haven't shown it to me. I'll be seeking this week to examine evidence that the police have seized from Mr O'Dempsey's place because under the Police Powers Act, as his lawyer, I'm entitled to see evidence that has been seized. But I'm not aware of any new evidence.
In rugby union, Australia and New Zealand have missed out on places in the Women's World Cup semi-finals in France. The Wallaroos failed to make the last four after going down 17 points to 3 to France, while four-time defending champion New Zealand missed out despite beating the USA 34 points to 3. In the semi-finals on Wednesday, Ireland faces England, while France tackles Canada. The weather for the capital cities: Brisbane sunny, it's currently 22.5 degrees. Sydney a partly cloudy day, it's now almost 22 degrees. For Canberra partly cloudy, it's now 14.5 degrees. Melbourne a few showers, currently 12 degrees. Hobart a shower or two increasing, it's now 7.5 degrees. Adelaide some showers, it's currently 13.7. Perth partly cloudy, 20.8 at the moment. And for Darwin a sunny day, it's currently 30 degrees. ABC News.
Bruce Simpson's new ABC book, Drover, celebrates a way of life that has all but vanished. The photographs by Darren Clark have captured the spirit of Bruce Simpson's yarns and memories in more than 100 images of the historic properties, landscapes, droving routes, towns and people of outback Northern Territory and Queensland. Drover is available from ABC shops, ABC centres and shop online.
Sunday footy.
Grandstand AFL.
And now Sloane's going to see it over, is he? No, he keeps it in, go to Jench, and Jench is dispossessed by Hanley. Hanley on the pocket, kicks towards the goal mouth, rolls through a number of players, picked up by Mays at Brisbane, and he snaps a goal.
54 metres out on a 45-degree angle, wants to square it up. Jench on the front point of the square, Marks plays on around the man on the mark. Martin drives it long from 52 metres. What a magnificent finish.
Towards half forward, a big pack of players underneath. Zorko rose for Brisbane, 70 out. His kick, one-on-one to Green. He just wants to get the ball to the drop at the back of the pack. Does so, shoots it through. That is clever small forward play from Josh Green.
Possession number 12. Drives long inside the 50. Walker coming to the front. Couldn't get a hand to it. At the back, right roves, right dribbles, right goals.
Chance for Brisbane to clear. It comes through Harwood. His hand pass sold. Adcock a dump. Great tackle from Sloane. Betts with a lightning hand pass to McKay. In tight, gave it to Jenkins. Back to Betts. Back to Sloane. Sloane snaps without great purchase on the kick, but it rolls through the desired hole.
Gets past Walker on the bounce. Betts is there. He goes to ground. He soccers off the ground though as he gets up. It's going towards goal. It's taken a leg break. Oh, what a goal from Eddie Betts.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Quentin Hull and the team at the Gabba in Brisbane as round 20 of the 2014 season rolls on Grandstand AFL, and Adelaide leads by 43 points at half-time. The Crows 12-10-82, the Lions 6-3-39. Even though it is a good lead for Adelaide. The concern is they are men down, men plural, with Lynch and Otten both stretch it off in what was a very long second quarter. Lynch with a neck injury and Otten with a lower right leg injury. It's about 40 minutes away from action getting underway at the Docklands today. St Kilda and the Western Bulldogs do battle there. We'll keep you right up to date here on Grandstand. And the privilege of watching on today, Drew Morfitt and Stan Alves are going to watch the Saints and the Dogs go around. I hope you get a good game, boys. How are you?
Afternoon, Q. I hope we get a good game as well. Well, under normal circumstances, you might think that St Kilda 18th, playing the Bulldogs 14th, in the last month of the home and away season might be much of an attractive game. But this is being billed as the Lenny Hayes game because it's the last home game that Lenny will play for the Saints. He announced his retirement, and the very week he did announce his retirement, they flogged Fremantle. So if this is the last home game, I've saw generations of St Kilda fans coming in, Stan, and they are here to pay tribute to one of the great legends of this club. And, well, we might just get a great day after all.
Well, I think we should, because quite often we talk about players finishing their careers and how good they've been, but this man is a legend. I mean, he's great. I don't think you often play the game as hard but as fair as Lenny Hayes and win not only the admiration of your own supporters but every other supporter and every other player in the competition. He's been an outstanding icon. The big challenge, of course, is can he inspire, can he lift his Saints, who really, after a good start, have faded away. I know it's about the future and that, up against a Bulldog side who probably have showed bits at times but then have gone backwards, and it would have been stung, by their performance against the Hawks last week, and we'd be looking for them to bounce back. So I expect a ding-dong tussle. I just hope that what they do is that they take each other on their merits and we don't get a flooding back contest.
Well, the conditions are perfect because, hallelujah, the roof is closed here at Docklands and they're going to play in ideal conditions and we might get a good game as a result.
Well, it's going to be a fast track, there's no doubt about that, and even if it was open, they wouldn't be sun in their eyes to worry about. It would just be the moisture outside. No, it's great, and isn't it fantastic? I mean, talking about the modern footballer, to play in these conditions, they are fair dinkum lucky.
Yeah, dead set. The teams are through. There's no change to either St Kilda or the Bulldogs. The sub for the Saints is Brodie Murdoch, and the sub for the Bulldogs again this season is Lockie Hunter, who seems to have worn the sub's vest plenty of times. So St Kilda currently sitting bottom of the ladder. No club in the history of the game has won more wooden spoons than St Kilda. They've won 26. Can they win and get off the bottom? Well, if they don't win here, they follow up with Sydney at the SCG next week, then Richmond at the MCG, which is an away game, and finish with Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval.
Well, you wouldn't be licking your chops at the prospect of that. No, this is an important game for them. I might say also it's an important game for not the teams but also the players. I mean, players who want to showcase themselves. I think from the St Kilda's perspective, it's about the youth, there's no doubt. But I think there's some senior players who've got to actually show what they're worth because, with Lenny going and things like that, who's going to step up? Who's going to be there to support Nick Riewoldt and perhaps a Lee Montagna? So it's important for them. And for the Bulldogs, I think they've promised a lot. I keep saying this. I think they're on the cusp of great things, but they're going to look for that improvement all the time. Note under Brendan McCartney, they're developing a game plan. I like the fact that he's let them off the leash in the last probably month or so and they're starting to play some attacking football. So I'm looking forward to this contest.
Over a long period, we've been worried about the Bullies' attack, but I'm half a bit worried about their defence. There's no Talia. Jordan Roughhead, I don't know that he's been in great form. Dale Morris, named at centre-half back, well, he hasn't got the height to go with tall forwards. And in the last couple of weeks, Carlisle's kicked 8 against them, and Ruffy kicked 6 against them last week.
Yeah, and you'd be terrified of the fact that if one person's going to play well today for Lenny Hayes, it would be Nick Riewoldt.
Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Bulldogs favourites, but don't underestimate the Saints with the emotion that they have to play with today. Coming up in just over half an hour's time, St Kilda and the Bulldogs. Q.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Stan. We'll keep you close at hand with developments between the Saints and Dogs under the roof. The players have returned to the Gabba. In news of other sport, the NRL has 2 games today. The first of them approaching half-time is across the ditch at Mount Smart Stadium in New Zealand, and the New Zealand Warriors lead the Cronulla Sharks by 16 points to 6. Warriors 16, Sharks 6. Close to half-time. And in a little over a quarter of an hour, St George Illawarra takes on Penrith. Of course, the other AFL game today is West Coast and Collingwood, which has some real substance to it. It looks like, the way things are going here, Collingwood will need to win to return to the 8, because if Adelaide wins here, and they lead by 43, they'll have possession of 8th place until things get underway at Subi. Before the third term, Al, let's go and have a look at the stats board.
Well, the Lions have had more disposals, guys, 9 more possessions than the Crows, 184 to 175, but they've had more hand passes than kicks, 93 hand passes, 91 kicks. The Crows have been far more useful with the kicking side of things, or they've used that more prominently. 112 kicks, 63 hand passes, so nearly double the number of kicks to hand passes. They're playing a more direct brand of football. Contested possession, Adelaide up by 26, 86 to 60. Clearances up by 13, the Crows, 28 to 15. And in the inside 50s, they're up by 7, 34 to 27. The marks 52 to the Lions, Adelaide only 41, which is interesting given how many more kicks Adelaide have had than hand passes. Individually, Rockcliffe 16, Hanley 15 possessions. Martin's had 14. He's averaging 20 possessions a game, another 14 here, but he has been outpointed in the ruck by Sam Jacobs. Patfull's had 13 and Maguire has had 12 for the Lions. And for the Crows, Lyons has had 16, Sloane has had 13, Crouch has had 12, Dangerfield 12, Martin 11 and Wright 11. Players are just starting to make their way to their positions. The Crows forming a big huddle. Such an important game for the Adelaide Crows to return to the top 8 here. And the opening term, the way the Lions were going, you thought that they were going to be able to make a real contest of this. But in the second half of that second term, Adelaide have broken the game open. Do you see a way back for the Lions, Craig and Josh?
It's going to be tough, isn't it?
Difficult amount of case for them, given what we've seen in the... well, not so much the first half, probably the most of the second quarter starts. But I think if you're Justin Lepich, you're just wanting a really consistent effort across the board. You want your leaders to step up. You want to see them move the footy in a positive fashion and be a little bit more composed with ball in hand. But I think given the head start they're giving up in this
got some issues with the clearances too, haven't they? So they'll definitely need to address that. Getting nothing out of their tall forwards at the moment in terms of just having 6 possessions between them. Daniel Merritt, John O'Freeman and Michael Close. So I mean, a couple of inexperienced guys there, but not a lot happening, not a lot of opportunities, mind you, on the way through. But there's plenty of issues for Justin Lepich, and it probably starts more in the centre than it does with their forward set up, to be honest.
And if you weren't with us earlier, the news that Andy Otten has been stretchered from the ground with a lower leg injury, and Tom Lynch was also stretchered off the ground in that second term with what appeared to be a neck injury. So the Crows are down to only 2 rotations on the bench as we get underway in the second half. Umpire Bannister slams it into the turf, taken by Zorko. He gets a hand pass away out in front of Mays. It bounces up awkwardly for him, and then he clatters into Crouch, going hard at Hanley. Did he get one over the shoulder? The umpire didn't pay it. He attacked it hard. He looked to be taken high. Crows will clear. Douglas a hand pass to Crouch. A hand pass through to defensive 50. And the short pass was on, and Talia takes the mark. The kick came from Yench. He's got it at right half back. McKay's kick up the wing in front. Good mark, Maguire. He's got the head tape after going off in that second term with the blood rule. Hanley at half back takes the mark. He's going to switch it. Marking 40 metres from the goals, he's defending is Adcock. Hand pass to Harwood. Harwood's kick towards the wing mark by Mays.
Between right half-back and the wing, Sam Mays will kick the southern wing for Brisbane and finds the target. Maguire's got a bit of plaster around his forehead. He's taken the mark in front of Jenkins. He kicks around the wing to Steph Martin, who marks in front of Jacobs.
Just noticed Marco Paparone on the ground too, guys. So
Justin Clark has been subbed out.
Yeah, yes, he's sitting on the bench in front of me here, guys. He's subbed off at half-time. Marco Paparone on.
Tactical or... any sign of injury there?
He's heavily strapped on the left thigh, but I think he's been carrying that all afternoon. So I think more a strategic move.
Well,
you'd
think with a defender coming off because of the injury to Tom Lynch, that's probably a tactical move from Justin Lepich. The Lions have been able to move it to attacking 50. There is Paparone's kick inboard is intercepted by Dangerfield. And he takes a relieving mark for the Crows. Yeah, you'd have to think that that'd be the case, wouldn't it, Stars?
Didn't touch it at all in the first half, Justin Clark.
You can send Merritt back now and Paparone to half forward.
As the Crows move it from one back pocket to the other. Brodie Smith has got it. He chips it to Sloane, who's got a bit of space at right half back. A short pass is marked by McKay. He was off and closed down quickly, but got a hand pass away. He had Henderson in support. Henderson's kick looking for Sloane, who's got a couple to beat. Rory Sloane, he's good, but almost good enough. He held it up for long enough for Jacobs to toe poker to the advantage of Wright. Wright in the hand pass exchange. He goes back to Jacobs, to Sloane. They're going around in circles on the wing, the Crows. Where's the boot? There it is. Oh, it's a shocking up and under as well from Henderson. Get under that and play fair. And there's a free kick. They haven't played fair there. Free kick goes to Taylor Walker, who was manhandled by Merritt. And he is almost within range here. Merritt's 52 metres out. Walker doesn't go for goal. He kicks it to the opposite pocket. Third man in for Brisbane. Puts the fist on it to spoil it towards the boundary line. Betts is looming to try and keep it in. Can't pick it up. Buick does so for Brisbane. He hand passes to Hanley and the lines are out. He hands it to Rockcliffe and Rockcliffe chips to the wing.
Good mark taken by Crisp in front of his opponent near the boundary line, in front of the interchange. He chips over the top. Rockcliffe had kept on running. Hand pass inside to Hanley. Hand pass to Martin. Flat-footed. Ooh. Hanley taken out after he got rid of it. Free kick advantage paid, says the umpire. Kick comes to Lewis Taylor. He's 2 kicks from goal. He wants to play on with no one on the mark. 65 out, goes to the pocket for Green. Oh, he couldn't quite take the mark under pressure from Crouch. The ball goes out of play 25 metres from goal. Thought Green was going to gobble that up. Here on the replay, he should have taken that mark, no doubt about it.
Got a shove.
Thrown in. Martin pushed out there by Jacobs, who takes it out of the ruck. That is holding the ball. Umpire says no, he must have got boot to ball, and then there's a free kick for a one over the shoulder to go the way of the Crows. McKay to take the free kick. Hand passes back to Jensch. Jensch gives the hand pass. Smith. Hand passes to Crouch. Off to Jensch. Jensch in a little bit of a bind. He does well to shrug off Green and chip past to the pocket. And Smith takes the mark for the Crows.
So they're not out yet. Still inside defensive 50. A low kick from Smith bursts through the fingers of Wright. Should have taken the mark at right half back, but Wright butters up, wins it for Adelaide. Hands it to Walker, and now they're away on the wing. Walker hands to McKay. McKay to Henderson. 2 bounces, 3. Oh, the third one went off his knee. And now there's a whistle.
Kick to Sloane, I think, off the ball.
Sloane up at half forward's been held onto by Maguire. So Sloane gets the free kick 60 metres from goal at right half forward. Chips very short inboard, wasn't 15. Walker takes it, plays on, hand passes it to Wright. 55 out centre half forward, jinks and then kicks from 50, but it's been intercepted by Robertson for Brisbane, who marks at fullback for the Lions. Kicks it out to the pocket, plenty of space there for Aish to take the mark. He hand passes it on back to Robertson. Robertson's kick to the wing, doesn't find a target. And a chance for Douglas to pick up for Adelaide. He's crunched when he got the footy. Ball spills free. Walker imposes, wins the ball, get a good hand pass out. Now a little grubbing ball to the advantage of... that's Grigg, the sub on the ground. It comes out to Jacobs. Jacobs kicks inside 50. Loping out is Jenkins. He wins it on the bounce. Dummy to handball. That's a kick that's not 15. Taken by Sloane. This is slow motion stuff here. Sloane 55 out. Says, I'll just go bang and long towards the goal mouth and a mark to Adelaide. Behind the pack. Clean hands. And it's Jared Lyons who's taken the grab for the Crows next to the goalpost. So he put on a bit of a tough angle in the right forward pocket.
He's had some game, has Lyons. He's leading possession winner on the ground. He's been absolutely outstanding for a half a footy.
And the angle's no problem for him. Lyons kicks the goal for the Crows and they continue to extend here. It's a 50-point lead for Adelaide. 13-11-89, plays 6-3-39.
Sorry, not quite leading, but he was right up there just before half-time. He's had 16 touches and
very good.
17 touches and kicked a goal, so he's been outstanding in his role. Was mainly a half forward.
Yeah, mainly a half forward, and he's been one of their better contributors. The other player for me that's getting far too much room is Rory Sloane. He's found a lot of the footy in this third quarter, and he was influential in that first half, so maybe it's an opportunity for Justin Lepich to send one of his young players to him and try and close him down.
Absolutely. The time and space he had here at the top of the 50 was to drive that ball in. If that persists, he's just going to absolutely cut up Brisbane's defence.
It appears to be going with Zorko. Rockcliffe off the ruck contest. Kicks towards centre half forward. Taylor came hard at the ball. He's tackled strongly by McKay and dispossessed. It's in the chop, picked up by Zorko. Hand passes on the outside. Martin's got to pick up a bouncing ball, fell over, managed to get a hand pass though. It's taken by Paparone. Sweeps it back to Zorko. Long hand pass towards Taylor near the boundary. Back to Paparone. Nice movement. Kicks inside 50. Lovely pass. Through the hands though of McStay. That was a bullet-like pass at pace. It goes over the boundary line for a throw-in 35 out.
Adelaide's just released an official statement on the 2 injuries, which we'll give to you when there's a stoppage.
Boundary throw-in. Lions in attack. Martin at the front. Taken by Taylor. Paparone had it slapped out of their hands cleverly by Betts. He's near the boundary line. He's wrapped up by Paparone Q.
Firstly, Tom Lynch. He has avoided serious injury following a sickening collision in the second quarter. Lynch has a suspected jarred neck. He's been taken to hospital for precautionary scans, but optimistic he's avoided serious injury.
Hanley was third man up on the hit out, but a clearing kick by Douglas of the Crows. Up the wing it goes. Merritt back with a flight, good mark. He takes it on the wing. He gives a hand pass to Buick. Buick hand passes to Hanley on the edge of the square. Maybe a hand on that kick. Patfull takes it. Gives a hand pass over the top to Buick near the bullseye. He can thump it long inside the 50 to a leading player in McStay, who was just edged out by Talia legally. It gets over the back and out of play 25 metres from goal.
Andy Otten being assessed for a serious right knee injury. So termed serious in this official statement from the Crows. He'll require scans to determine the extent, and we'll get more information as it comes to hand. So Lynch okay with a jarred neck, so it seems, but Andy Otten with a quote-unquote serious right knee injury. Ball's in the forward zone for the Lions. Hand pass farmed out from Rockcliffe to Adcock. Off a step from 50. Kicks on goal. It won't have the purchase, and offhands it goes through for a point. So Adelaide's lead is 49. 89 plays 40.
So Brisbane's only hope here to exploit that lack of rotation, Josh, is to get them running. Get them running off half-back. Couple of promising signs here just in the last few minutes, but really got to make Adelaide work if they're any chance.
Crouch marked the kick in from Smith. And he's not sure what to do with it. He's being pressed now by Rockcliffe, and that is a good kick. Douglas just drifting off his man. He marks on defensive 50. Hand pass to Martin. Martin chips a little dangerously over the top, but it comes off. Jenkins has got it inside the centre square. They break for him. Good running on the overlap, but not a great kick. Patfull able to spoil away from Martin, who did well to gather. Hand pass on the outside as he was spinning away from a tackler to McKay, who kicks inside 50, and Cameron marks 35 out. The angle is negligible. What wonderful play that was from Martin. And now the shot for Cameron.
Talk about winning one-on-one, Stas, and how crucial they are in today's game. That was a terrific example of a contest that he probably shouldn't have won. His ability to halve it was super impressive, and then to actually turn it into a win and a shot on goal for his team. Young Martin, it was fantastic play.
So Charlie Cameron back in the team after one game in the SANFL, returning from his long layoff with a groin injury. That kick is away to the right. And the margin's back to 50 points at the 10-minute mark of the third term. 13-12, 90 the Crows. The Lions 6-4-40.
And the umpire says, get on with it. So Adcock kicks long from the kick-in, and it's effective. It's marked by Mays at centre half back, and here's this corridor burst that we're seeing again from Brisbane. Mays takes a bounce, kicks to a space inside 50 that's fielded by an Adelaide defender, but the mark not completed by Brodie Smith. It's on the ground. Crows come up with it though, and for a moment it looked like Betts was going to get a free kick. Was it?
Throw.
Yeah.
Throw. It's Brisbane's ball. And it's a free kick to Mays.
Needs to do better this time. He butchered the last one, Sam Mays.
Kicks it across the half forward line. Paparone marks 60 from goal.
Good kick.
And he slots a very incisive pass 15 metres to the chest of Buick on the attacking 50.
He's been busy straight away, Marco Paparone, since he's been on the ground, which is good. He's a runner and he's tall, so he can play a variety of roles, but he's the sort of player that can go some way to exploiting Adelaide's possible lack of run later in this half.
7 goals for the year, Rowan Buick. Left foot up from right on the paint of 50. He's put it high. It's going to come down right on the heads of them, but just beyond. In fact, through for a behind. So another minor for the Lions. Brisbane 6-5-41 to Adelaide's 13-12-90.
Henderson to kick in for the Crows. Just not the movement that they want coming out of defence at the moment. The kick Dangerous for Douglas. It hits the deck after the spoil from Adcock, cleaned up by Lyons. He gives a hand pass. A little short ball from Thompson finds Jenkins at right half back. Josh Jenkins. He's had a good year for the Crows. He's a long way from where we've seen him do some of his best work this season. A thumping kick up the Vulture Street wing. Robertson well placed to spoil. Walker came over the back, got a hand to it. Zorko crashes in. Walker over the top of him, wraps him up strongly. That's not coming out.
Could be holding the ball, though.
And it quite possibly will be. Umpire says yes. Umpire Fraser and umpire Stevens concurring. And it'll be a free kick to be taken by Grigg. So Walker's got out of there to provide an option, and now he comes on the lead, but that's ignored. Grigg, the left footer, low ball inside 50. Lovely pass to Eddie Betts, who got away from Patfull, and he marks 40 metres out directly in front.
Hard to know with that much time how Eddie can find space, to be honest.
It's not the same intent or urgency that they displayed in, they've displayed in the last month, probably Brisbane. I think they'd be really disappointed with what they're producing at the moment, and I think it's starting to, the tone's been set with some of their leaders who are just not setting the way.
Betts through the 50, kicking towards the western end. It's left all the way. And it just clears the pack on the line and goes through for a minor score. So the margin's out to 50 again. We've seen 5 behinds in this term, but no goals yet. We've played 13 minutes of it. 13-13 plays 6-5.
And the Saints and Dogs imminent, but yet to get underway at Docklands as Adcock runs to the pocket, drives long from the kick-in to a pack at right half back. Jacobs got there to make a spoil. Underneath Robertson for Brisbane is tackled by Jacobs as soon as he got it. Now Hanley's there and he's tackled. Taylor mops up the crumbs. It's hard work for Brisbane to get out of here, and they've coughed it up. Crouch whacks the ball inside 50 for the Crows. A big fly, and Patfull couldn't take the mark, so at the back of the pack Jenkins says thank you very much. He received a hand pass from Eddie Betts and runs into an open goal and kicks another for the Crows. Well, Joel Patfull had perhaps delusions of grandeur there. Had he completed the mark, it would have been one of the greatest things you've ever seen. But you've got to do that as a defender or otherwise. It's the wrong decision. And a goal to Adelaide as a result.
Becomes their 11th goal kicker, Josh Jenkins, with his first of the afternoon. So a good spread for the Adelaide Crows. They've had 3 players kick 2. Betts, Lynch, who won't be kicking anymore, and Martin.
Patfull had the opportunity there to call Gardner back too, didn't he? So, there's a couple of errors of judgment there.
Martin initiates body contact, but Jacobs, with eyes for the ball, palms down, taken away by Lyons of the Crows. He kicks towards half forward, wobbling ball out towards the boundary line. Walker and Merritt pursue it. It's near the line, and Walker sees it out of play, 60 from goal.
I reckon I'll have some hope of convincing Josh Fraser if he's got some say in the votes today. We look at stat sheets and look at people who've got possessions. If Sam Jacobs is not the most valuable player out there for Adelaide today, I'll go he.
He's been handy.
If ever you're going to convince someone, it's an ex-ruckman too,
That's why I thought I'd just go to a very, very receptive target.
Zorko picks up on the wing, just gets his hand passes tackled for the Lions to Green. Green falls over near the boundary line, and it's socked over and out on the full accidentally.
I'm not entirely sure how, but it definitely was. It just managed to catch a foot before it crossed the line.
It was off the boot of Brown. Rockcliffe's got it. He kicks towards the edge of 50. Can the Lions find a goal here? It's Talia attacking the ball out of defence. He's tackled and dispossessed though. Over at Crisp, locking it inside, attacking 50. He's tackled by McKay, but it'll be thrown in the air 40 metres out.
All those matchups down back are working really well for the Crows, aren't they? Now they're starting to, smell a bit of blood and attack and get off their opponents and lead their opponents to the ball as well.
And Jacobs, having been beaten for that tap, actually gets a free kick because Steph Martin slung him out of the way as Jacobs went to battle on at ground level. He kicks it wide and finds the target. The release from half-back is good, marked by Grigg on the wing. His hand pass fumbled for a moment by Wright, but he regathers, slots it to Sloan, who's on halfway. He kicks it to right half forward, hard running from Henderson to take a mark. Crisp closes him down, but Henderson kicks back to the corridor. Front on spoil from Maguire is against the law of the game, and Jenkins will get a free kick.
That's
well,
a
they
goal.
pay advantage.
Cameron's kicked it.
Yeah, they'll pay advantage. Cameron got the spill and had a snap, and he's kicked the goal from 15 metres out. And another one for Adelaide. This is becoming a very good day out for the Crows, on a day where percentage will also get a fine boost in their tightrope walk to September. That's now a 62-point lead. Cameron with his first. Adelaide 15-13, 103. Brisbane 6-5, 41.
Just watching the replay and watching Matt Maguire talk to the umpire, I'm not entirely sure what he could be complaining about. That's a free kick every day of the week. And it's interesting when you just look down and there's a stop at play, you look at the Adelaide players pointing, directing, setting up. They know what they have to do. They understand what they have to do. You look at Brisbane and there's really just a lack of that initiative and leadership across the board today.
12 goal kickers now for the Crows. Out of the middle, it's Buick for the Lions. Balks to hand pass and cuts it half through them. Did well. A low left foot ball inside the 50. Pushed out Shirley McStay. No free kick. Taken by Thompson, who's dispossessed in the tackle. Hassled by Green, who gets a kick to the pocket for the Lions. It bounced away from Taylor. Slapped down by Henderson. To McKay, to Yench, back to McKay along the boundary line. Nice link up from the Crows. Kick to a one-on-one. Walker and Merritt on the wing. Hand to it, Walker. Hits the deck. Merritt paddles towards the boundary line. Clatters into Matthew Wright. It's gone out. Centre wing on the Vulture Street side. Big lead to the Crows. 62 points. Good crowd in at the Gabba. The locals haven't seen the game go their way after initially in that opening term seeing some enthralling footy from the Lions. The Crows have really worked their way on top. Hand pass of Crouch was pinched by Zorko on the wing. Gives a hand pass to Hanley. Hanley to Rockcliffe. Now they're out the Lions. He wants to give another hand pass. Hits the deck. Ace gathers. He's got Green on the outside but gives to Mays. 55 from goal at left half forward. His hand pass to a flat-footed Ace. Back it goes to Mays. The South Australians kick around the corner to a pack. Fisted away by Talia. Came to McKay. He's tackled. Did well to get the hand pass. And a clearing kick by Douglas is an excellent one. Marked by Sloan at right half back.
Jeez, it's hard as a Brisbane forward star. So it's a nightmare playing down there with the handball and the persistence on the extra handball instead of kicking it. It throws your leading patterns all over the place.
Agreed. And the hand pass, they could have come back inside a couple of times there going forward, and they actually went outside, which made it even worse for the forwards.
Rockcliffe should have kicked. Yep. He was out, running towards 50, should have kicked.
Sloan kicked to Dangerfield one-on-one on the wing, but it was spoiled over the boundary line. So a throw-in on halfway. Steph Martin juggles and eventually on hands and knees tried to tap it to Buick, but Buick couldn't handle it. Wright picks up for Adelaide. Bumbles a kick inside 50. Merritt's won that though for Brisbane. Tries to get away from Nettie, who clung onto him like a limpet and wins a free kick for holding the ball. Oh, great work, little man, on the big man with the red hair. Eddie Betts punching above his weight there. Give him a medal for just winning the kick.
Slow start by Eddie, but he's gradually worked his way into the game. So he and little Cameron are going to be very valuable for them as the next month progresses.
He's looking to dish off. He doesn't go for goal. Walker presents in the pocket and Walker takes a mark. Why that hole was not filled, I do not know, but Taylor Walker says, thank you very much. I'll run to the space. Nice service, Eddie. I'm on the same angle, but 30 metres closer to goal.
Without being too negative on it, I mean, the scoreboard's clearly getting away from the Lions, but this could turn into a bit of a disaster if they don't try and wrestle some ascendancy back. They've been really good for a lot of the year, but at the moment they're just they're in survival mode.
Well, this will make it 10 of the last 11 goals in the game if Walker can kick truly here, and he does from the right forward pocket. That's a fine spearheads finish. His second, and Adelaide dismantling Brisbane here. The Crows 16-13, 109 lead Brisbane 6-5, 41.
Well, we've probably been fooled a bit over the last 3 or 4 weeks with the Lions, the opponents that they've had and the wins they've had and the performances they've put in. Last weekend's game was not a high quality, but they managed to get a win on the road, which was always good. But they're up against a really high quality opposition today in Adelaide, who have really got some purpose. You can really see what they've got their sights set on. And of all those teams around between 7th and 10th or 11th on the ladder at the moment, it's they look a real prospect.
Thoughts of Craig Starcevich on Grandstand AFL. Martin won the tap that time, but it's Crouch emerging from the Crows for the middle. From the middle, he kicks to the pocket. Wright's out after it. Harwood after him. Towards the boundary line it goes. Flip back by Wright towards Betts. His hand pass pinched by Harwood. Gives it to Maguire. Fends off a couple. Did he fend off high? No. Ball out towards the boundary line at half back, and it's going to be seen out by Patfield and Sloan.
If West Coast win today, there will be 4 premiership points between 7th and 12th. One win between 7th and 12th.
They're all queuing up.
That's intriguing, isn't it? Martin taps towards the boundary line. Will it get there? Yes, it will. It'll be thrown back in. Still 60 metres from the Adelaide Crows goal at the western end.
It'll boil down to your draw, won't it? In the end, I would have thought. Who gets the easy run in and who has to play teams around them. I know Richmond and Adelaide next week will be a beauty, so looking forward to that.
Well, they're a big tease, Richmond, aren't they? They'll have to play the Swans in the last round if they can still be in the race.
In contention for 9th, the Tigers.
Rockcliffe long hand pass over the top. Adelaide come up with it. Martin spins through the tackle, gets a hand pass away to Dangerfield. He feeds McKay. McKay tackled, got his hand pass too. Out in front of Cameron. Cameron at centre half forward gives a hand pass over the top. Grigg gives a hand pass. Should be another goal to Adelaide. Oh, the kick from right was no good. Jacobs on hands and knees, well tackled by Patfull. Comes to right, gives to Betts. Betts hand passes back to Cameron. The 1-2 from the two classy little players, but not the finish from Charlie Cameron. Away to the right. And the margin is 69 points at the 22.5-minute mark of the third term.
Well, that was junk time and time on here in the third quarter. Adelaide had so much time and they almost mucked it up, trying to be too cute.
1-3 for Charlie Cameron.
Adcock to the pocket and then he kicks to right half back. McStay the target, couldn't take the mark. And Brisbane, though, will come clear. You'd think the hand pass trying to go back to McStay. He couldn't pick it up.
There's a lot of handballs hitting the deck.
But Taylor picks up the footy for Brisbane. He kicks it. That helps. To Steph Martin, who marks forward of the wing. He kicks to Paparone, marked at half forward. He gives a hand pass to Buick. Buick back to Paparone. Paparone in strife. Hand passes to the ground. Picked up by McStay. Gives it back to Paparone. Off a step. His kick is smothered. It rolls like a spinning top into the pocket. Picked up by the Crows. They've got numbers. Dangerfield and Sloane combined. The kick across the face of goal is a little dangerous, but Henderson will mark in the right back pocket. You wouldn't have thought that a team playing away in Brisbane with two men down on a hot Sunday could sort of cog down from fifth gear to third, but that's exactly what the Crows are doing at the moment. They're in absolute domination of this game as Henderson goes with a long ball towards right half back and Crisp ends up winning it for Brisbane.
You're right there, Q. They're dominating without having to work hard, which is a real concern for Brisbane.
Crisp short to Mays, and Mays is 65 metres out. He up and unders it towards the goal mouth, hoping for a mark. Martin was the man there. That's Steph Martin for Brisbane. Couldn't take the grab. It's kicked clear by Grigg of Adelaide towards left half back, but 2-on-1 for Brisbane.
Out there is Paparone. He's got Harwood to combine with. Harwood kicks back inboard and a mark taken by Rockcliffe. 40 metres out, a bit worse than a 45-degree angle. Rockcliffe's had 25 disposals. He's been going at it with Dangerfield for the afternoon. Dangerfield has had 15. A goal to Dangerfield, but Rockcliffe yet to hit the scoreboard. Here's his chance. He's put the ball on the ground. He's just composing himself and gathering his breath. We've got to fight this one out, the Lions, as Josh was saying. Don't want to be on the end of a belting. He comes through the 50. Tom Rockcliffe strikes it with the right boot. Nice kick. It's a goal. It's the Lions 7th, Adelaide 16-14, 110. Brisbane 7-5-47, 25 played third term on Grandstand AFL.
Should be underway at the Docklands between the Dogs and the Saints. Drew Morfitt is not there at the moment. Gentlemen, as you were.
Good player, Tommy Rockcliffe, isn't he? He's since he's come to Brisbane, he's turned himself into one of the... you'd almost consider him elite now throughout the competition, and continues to rack him up. I don't think he's had the same impact today as what he's had in previous games, but he still keeps trying, and to go forward and kick a goal for his team is good quality to have. So he's one that Brisbane will be looking to continue to improve.
My apologies to Drew. Still 10 minutes away from the start there. At Docklands 3:20, not 3:10. Confused with all the time slots these days. Brisbane with a clearance from the middle of the ground. Zorko to a bouncing ball, taps it to the advantage of Paparone. From 50 out, he dinks it, hoping for Aish. The close came and fisted away at ground level. Dangerfield fights on, does well, gets out a hand pass. Was intended there for Luke Brown, who couldn't pick it up. And now back in the chop. Green has it for Brisbane. Hand passes defensively to Paparone, 55 out. He kicks to the top of the goal mouth. Coming out, a bit of an awkward bouncing ball, but Rockcliffe gets on the end of it and snaps a goal. No. Behind. Gee, umpire took a while before tapping his chest there in the goal mouth. And that is a behind.
Yench's kick in. Marked in the left back pocket. It's going to be Thompson. Crows up by 62 points. Thompson clears to halfback. Nice pass. And Lions has had a very good day on return for the Crows. Brenton Sanderson said it came down to either Lions or Matt Crouch. And Lions got the nod to play here. And I would suspect he's going to be playing for a few more weeks on end after his performance today. Not a great kick. Martin gathers on the bounce. Hand pass to Adcock to Rockcliffe. One over the top to Zorko. 55 out. Goes to the pocket to the lead of McStay. Good spoil from Thompson. But the rove by Stephen Martin and the shot at goal. It's away to the left. Another behind to the Brisbane Lions. 61 points the margin to the Crows. 27 played in the third term. Adelaide 16-14. Brisbane 7-7.
Al, you mentioned before the Lions don't want to let this one slip away. Matt Maguire just headed down to the rooms before with some sort of foot injury. He's all right now, but pleading with his bench to put in until the final siren goes. It's not over, he was saying.
They did come back from 52 points down against the Cats in the third term, but I can't see that happening. That's the end of the third term. And Adelaide will go into the final break with a lead of 61 points. The Crows 16-14, 110, and the Lions are 7-7, 49. So in that term, Brisbane with 1 goal 4, and the Crows with 4 goals 3, and they take a very handy 61-point lead into the final change. They've had 12 different goal kickers, the Adelaide Crows, 2 goals each to Martin, Lynch, Betts and Walker, and singles for Jenkins, Sloane, Yench, Wright, Jacobs, Lyons, Dangerfield and Cameron. And for the Lions, 2 goals to Crisp, both in the opening term, both absolute rippers running through the corridor. Seems a distant memory now. Josh Green's kicked 2, singles to McStay, Mays and Rockcliffe.
So Adelaide with a lock on this one. You'd suggest at three-quarter time it would be something special if the Lions could win from here. A 61-point lead to the Crows. In a moment, Josh Fraser and Craig Starcevich will tell you more on ABC Local Radio, News Radio and Grandstand Digital. This is Grandstand AFL.
There's a world of great sport content right at your fingertips with ABC Grandstand Online.
Visit abc.net.au/grandstand.
Get the latest sports results and stories and find out what's coming up with the broadcast schedule. Log on to abc.net.au/grandstand for sports coverage like no other.
Grandstand Sport.
It's on your radio, online, on digital radio and on your mobile. Sunday footy.
Grandstand AFL.
Dummy to handball. That's a kick that's not 15. Taken by Sloane. This is slow motion stuff here. Sloane 55 out. Says, I'll just go bang and long towards the goal mouth and a mark to Adelaide. Behind the pack, clean hands. It's Garrett Lyons. And the angle's no problem for him. Lyons kicks the goal for the Crows. Crouch racks the ball inside 50 for the Crows. A big fly and Patbull couldn't take the mark. So at the back of the pack, Jenkins says thank you very much. He received the hand pass from Eddie Betts and runs into an open goal and kicks another for the Crows. He doesn't go for goal. Walker presents in the pocket and Walker takes a mark. Why that hole was not filled, I do not know, but Taylor Walker says, thank you very much. I'll run to the space. Nice service, Eddie. Well, this will make it 10 of the last 11 goals in the game if Walker can kick truly here. And he does from the right forward pocket. That's a fine spearheads finish. And Adelaide dismantling Brisbane here.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Local Radio, online and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
It's been a steady progression of dominance for the Crows after Brisbane jumped out of the blocks and started well. Adelaide led by 15 points at quarter time, 44 at half time, and now hold a 61-point break at the final change. Quentin Hull and the team in the sunshine at the Gabba, but the sun is shining all on the visitors here. It's been a terrific display from the Crows. The news from the injured duo of Tom Lynch and Andy Otten. Lynch stretched it off with a suspected neck injury, and that's been confirmed by the club. He's undergoing scans, but it doesn't seem too serious. A badly jarred neck for Tom Lynch, but Andy Otten might be the longer-term problem because the Crows confirming that he has a quote-unquote serious right knee injury. He was also stretchered off in the second term, but Josh and Craig, it doesn't seem to have affected the Crows one iota.
They are winning contested ball. They're winning it when it's in dispute. They're tackling harder than the opposition. They're 18 up on tackles. Contested possession up 29. Clearances up 13. Sam Jacobs has been an absolute monument of a player out there today, having had 31 hit-outs, and they're just feeding off his dominance. So hard to know where the Lions go from here, because all facets of the game, they're completely dominating the Lions.
And hard to believe that the Lions have one more disposal to three-quarter time. So it's just a game of efficiency. I think we've spoken about it during the call, that they're just overusing the ball. They've had opportunities to go inside 50, and granted, they probably don't have a key target down there like Adelaide have in Taylor Walker, but you can still get the ball inside your forward 50 and put enormous pressure on the opposition defence. But they've elected to overuse the ball. That's created turnover. I don't think the Crows are by any means flying, but they're doing enough now to just keep control of the match, and they're really hurting the Lions on that counter-attack. And I think Eddie Betts has come into the game, which has been important. We've spoken about Sam Jacobs. He's been a terrific player, and I think a bit of credit to Stephen Martin as well. He's outsized today. He's had 21 hit-outs of his own, and he's actually tried to make Jacobs around the ground accountable. So I think he's done a reasonable job, considering he's not a ruckman with a heap of experience either. So I think he's continued his good form on for Brisbane.
And Josh, you've been in teams that are getting closer to finals or have big games around the quarter. I'm just thinking from Adelaide's perspective, 61 points in front, hot day in Brisbane, 2 men down with must-win games to come. So it's the devil in the deep blue sea. They've got to win by as big as they can here to get percentage up. So how do they structure this last half hour?
I think when you're a side in that bracket that Adelaide are in, you can't flirt with anything. You've just got to keep going. Ball to red rag. You've got to keep playing your best players. Get them conditioned and seize them to what potentially may lie ahead in the final series. I wouldn't be taking any precautions with any of them. I'd just be putting them out there, and you want to see your best quarter of footy right now. You want to see that from the Crows.
Thanks, Josh. Josh Fraser with you on Grandstand AFL. A few numbers before the final.
Yep, 28 possessions for Rockcliffe, 22 for Hanley, 21 for Martin, 22 for Wright for the Crows, 21 for Sloane and 20 for Lions as we're underway in the final term. A 61-point lead to the Crows. Rockcliffe out of the middle, a hand pass to Zorko, took it in the air and gave it back. Gives a hand pass to Hanley. Hanley's looking to emerge through them. He flips one over the top nicely to Zorko from 45 metres out. Zorko kicks long and misses to the left. Nice link up from three players that the Lions, when playing well, can rely on to produce good things for them, but that margin now 10 goals, the opening scorer behind to the Lions.
So Brown kicks to himself and runs to the pocket for Adelaide, drives a long ball to right half back and a pack, and Rockcliffe robes for Brisbane. His hand pass hoping to stay in. Sloane just flips it towards the boundary line and it goes over. Neglected to give you the NRL scores at three-quarter time. The Warriors and the Sharks, it's still the Warriors 16-6 over the Sharks in the second half there, and St George and Penrith are underway. The Panthers 6 lead the Dragons 4. That game's early on in the first half. Throw in left half forward for Brisbane. Half a chance for the Lions here. Well, May's had it for a moment, was dispossessed. Betts comes away with it for Adelaide. Defensive hand pass to Brown. Brown gets it away. Smith is tackled from behind. Play on's the call. He did get a hand pass away, Smith, in the end, and another pack of players is over the footy trying to win it. And Freeman, the first gamer, Big Jono emerges, got a hand pass out to no effect. Douglas picks up the bouncing ball for Adelaide, hacks it clear, but Adcock dropped the mark he should have taken, backing back for Brisbane. He'll get a free kick for being taken too high.
Adcock attacking side of the wing. He's looking to switch the play. He wants Harwood to break for him, and he does. He orchestrated that beautifully. Harwood takes the mark. He wants to play on, gives a hand pass on the 50 to Paparone. Tried to give it back. Cameron slapped it down. It still comes to Harwood. He's nabbed by Sloane. Paparone's got it. Gives it inside the 50 to Taylor. Great tackle on him as well. Holding the ball. Yench is rewarded for a good tackle, but again the Lions overdoing it. Harwood didn't need to play on. Now it's Crouch short, and Grigg takes the mark in front of Patfull, defensive side of the wing.
That's that overuse of the handball we were talking about, Al.
They've had 20 more handballs than kicks today, Stars.
That is absolutely bizarre, isn't it? And very, very rare. So that ratio of handball to kicks, goodness me.
Crows have had 58 more kicks than handballs. Yeah. And there's another couple as Crouch kicks back inside the defensive 50 to Yench, who spots up Brown, 30 metres from the goals he's defending. He kicks out to half-back on the Stanley Street side, and the mark taken by Henderson. Kick towards half-forward. Out comes Smith. Couldn't mark. He gathers under pressure from Crisp, who's got him. He's slung. He got a hand pass away. Henderson couldn't take it with him. Crisp goes again. Flicks it out in front of his teammate there in close. Harwood, though, picked up for the Lions and gave to Crisp, who measures his kick neatly to Zorko on the wing.
Holds it up, having looked for a runner, and now chips to the centre of the ground, marked by Mays, just forward of the bullseye. Mays for Brisbane, looking around, and now just has to look long. Puts his right boot into it, kicks to the pocket, and a one-handed mark! Oh, Jono Freeman in your first game! Inspired by Jonathan Brown, and he puts on a Jay Brown show in his first game in the right forward pocket. There's a highlight for Brisbane on a dim day.
That was a beauty right in front of me here, guys. He's been working really hard to try and get an opportunity. Just hasn't been going to the right places. New bloke in a new team, but that was a gem.
Well, this is the Jonathan Brown pocket as well, Q, isn't it? Near the race, 40 out.
Can he kick the goal, Jono Freeman? It would be his first in AFL football. A South East Queensland product, playing for the Lions. The right foot drop punt. There's a minor. He's missed it. So the finish not up to the catch. Adelaide lead by 59 points. They are underway at the Docklands. Off and racing, Dogs and Saints. Drew Morford.
And a bright start to the game. The Saints got the first goal in the opening 2 minutes through Jack Nunes, but the Bulldogs have hit back through goals of Tom Campbell, and Liam Picken kicked his third goal for the season, and the Dogs lead 2-1 after 6 minutes.
Good on you, Drew. Talia's got it in defence for the Crows. He gives a hand pass to Yench. Yench into the middle, and the mark taken. Douglas gave by hand to Yench, who kept on running. He gives it to Grigg, and the bullseye hand pass to Crouch in some traffic. Strong at the hips, brushes off a would-be tackler. Kicks inside the 50. Walker well placed here, takes the mark. 25 metres out directly in front.
It's a good kick.
It's a great point, Q. I don't think you should underestimate that kick just to his favoured side. He's had a couple of them today, Taylor Walker, where his teammates upfield have just been able to position it to his favoured side and makes it almost impossible for the defender. But you love him like that every time.
Walker with 2. He's a good mover.
Silver service.
And he's very strong, a hard man to tackle. Walker over it, kicking to the eastern end. Good kick. Walker's got 3. And the Crows move to 17-14, 116. The Lions are 7-9-51, a 65-point lead to the Crows. 5 played. Final term on Grandstand AFL.
Sometimes you can just make the forward move for you, can't
Yeah.
you? Just the way that kick came in, the way it was positioned, just to give it a bit of elevation, a little bit of width, and just let the forward find the right spot.
He's had a pretty good game, Taylor Walker, hasn't he?
Well, he's got the 3 goals won, but it's been those score assists as well.
Yeah, little knock-ons and
tackle in the defensive half of the ground as well at one point.
None of that's going to show up in his 16 possessions, but he's done some really good work.
And he's working into form at the right end of the year. 7 goals in his previous 2 as well, guys. So good news for the Crows.
Bounce in the middle, favoured Steph Martin. He's tapped down to Aish. Aish was tackled as soon as he got it. So another ball up in the middle of the Gabba. Tossed in the air. Sloane's third up, tapped it down to Dangerfield. Under pressure, he puts an up and under kick towards half forward. Oh, there's a strong little man mark taken by Matthew Wright.
Dangerfield's hobbling off. Looks like a hamstring.
Oh, he is going to the bench. We'll get Matt Webber to tell us about that in a moment. Matt Wright gives it to Yench and then lies down as if there's a bee swarm coming. So Yench kicks it over his head. The ball goes towards the pocket and over the line. Matt?
Looks like right hammy straight to the benches here in the hands of the physios. He's not pointing to anything specific, but he looks pretty disappointed, Paddy Dangerfield. Well, I'll let you know more in a moment.
And he's got that right knee taped, and now we're getting a super slow-mo of what's happened here. Yeah, can't really see anything on that replay.
Lions are on the break up the Stanley Street wing. Hanley's kick. Good mark taken in front there by the little man Green. He's got it attacking side of the wing. Gives a hand pass to Aish. Hand pass to Zorko through the 50. Must finish from here. Dane Zorko has kicked the goal. Zorko's first. And pleasingly from a Brisbane perspective, listen to that noise. I mean, They're 59 points down, but I think the Lions fans can see something building here, and they're not too worried about the result. They're more concerned with the method at the moment.
Yeah, they're on a journey, there's no doubt about it. And I guess today's probably been a bit disappointing given what they've been able to produce in previous weeks. But, it's important they fight the game out now. I think it's also equally as important that Adelaide continue on their good form, because they've got a big month ahead, hopefully leading into a final series for them. But still a bit to play for both sides.
What's happening to Dangerfield, Matt Webber?
Straight down the race. Followed the doctor down just a moment ago, Q.
Thank you. That's bad news for Adelaide and for footy fans in general. One of the stars of the competition being hampered. From the centre bounce, a free kick to Brisbane's Rockcliffe, so the Lions will go forward again. He chips it to Steph Martin. He can run to 40 and have a ping. He gets closed down, hand passes it to Crisp. Crisp kicks a third goal of the day. Turns on his left, eyed them, steady, and slots it home from 40 metres out. 2 in a row to Brisbane. Adelaide 17-14, 1-16. Brisbane 9-9, 63. It's early on at the Docklands. Let's get a score update from Drew Morford.
The Saints kicked the first goal, but the Dogs have kicked the next 3. The last added by Jake Stringer. And the Bulldogs are 3-1-19, leading the Saints 1 goal. We've been playing 10.5 minutes. Lenny Hayes lining up on Matthew Boyd. The crowd cheering every time he gets it, which hasn't been overly much yet.
So they should. What a player he's been, Lenny Hayes. So Adelaide are down to 1 on the bench here. Lynch with a neck injury that we don't think is too serious. Andy Otten with what the club has said is a serious knee injury. And now Dangerfield with what appeared to be a hamstring. Out of the middle, Taylor to Zorko. Zorko did well to hand pass back to Taylor. Left foot kick inside the 50. Good play in defence coming off his man to mark was Thompson. Luke Thompson's been a steady influence back there for the Crows. He's got it in the right back pocket. Thompson short to the edge of 50. Taken by Brodie Smith on the Stanley Street side of the ground. Movement ahead from Douglas. Kick goes in his direction. No, further to Walker. Walker left it in the end for Jenkins. Couldn't mark down low. Turnover. Rockcliffe hand passes out in front of Maguire. It's slapped away of Zorko. He hits it at pace. Gives a hand pass to Harwood. In the middle. He kicks inside 50. Mark not quite taken by Crisp. And Taylor Walker gathers and gets a hand pass. And Henderson clears with a nice pass to Lyons on the wing.
He's just going to hold it up for a moment. Turns quickly now. He's got a runner in right who marks uncontested 60 from goal at right half forward for Adelaide. And he has to go back on his mark and then chips over the man on the mark to Sloane. He's not much closer to goal. He's 55 out. Sloane hooks it around the body laconically, looking for Grigg in the pocket. The spoil comes and the ball goes over the line. And we'll have a throw in 30 metres from Adelaide's goal. The Crows leading by 53 points, 10.5 minutes into the final term. And until things get underway at Subi, they'll have residents inside the 8. And if West Coast can beat Collingwood, Adelaide will stay there for the next week of football. As a neutral at the bottom of the pack from the throw-in the forward pocket for the Crows.
A West Coast win would keep them in touch.
Yeah, if West Coast win, there's a game. There's a win between 7 and 12. Extraordinarily. Adelaide trying to get more points here. It's farmed out to right from the stoppage. He snaps and Sloane floats across the pack to take a mark in front of the goal.
Had a great game, Rory Sloane. I mean, the numbers disposals-wise aren't super high. This will be his 23rd, but he's had 10 tackles, which just shows you how hard he works in all facets of the game, Josh.
I think early starts when the game was in the balance, he was really important, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he's the reigning best and fairest at the club and has played every game this year and should kick his second goal from 15 metres out, slightly to the right. Rory Sloane, he's put the goal umpire in a bit of a trot out to his right, but he'll come back and signal the 2 fingers for 6 points and a 59-point lead for Adelaide. 18-14, 1-22. Place 9-9-63. We've travelled 12 final term here. Let's get an update from Drew at Docklands.
Well, we look headed for a shootout here. There have been 3 goals each, 6 goals in the first 12 minutes of the game. The Bulldogs are 3-1, the Saints 3 straight, and we're now approaching the 14-minute mark of the first quarter.
Stroop
from the middle. It's going to be Jacobs to contest in ruck. Martin getting a spell at the moment. And Close has gone into the ruck for the Lions. Umpire taking his time. He slams it into the turf. Place goes up early and wins a hit out. Well played. Crouch is out after it. Zorko as well. Sloan over it now. He couldn't take it. Ace feeds out the hand pass, but intercepted by Big Jacobs. Runs to centre half forward. Hand pass on the outside to Walker. Eyes them. Shoots. Scores. And a supporter at the eastern end had an Adelaide Crows coloured bullseye, which had hit. Give the man 50 grand for the kick. You get that in the old domestic cricket competition back in the day.
Yeah.
Taylor Walker's got 4.
Guys, Paddy Dangerfield about to resume duties out on the ground, so it can't have been anything too serious. Perhaps just a little jarring, more precautionary than anything else.
Well spotted, Matt.
Yeah, I reckon he hurt that knee a couple of weeks ago too, so might have been just that left leg. But just in that passage of play there, those 3 guys from Adelaide, Sloan to win the contested ball, Sam Jacobs to follow it up at ground level, and then Taylor Walker to finish. Just about their 3 best players, Josh.
65 points the lead to the Crows.
Walker up to 25 goals for the season, having had a late start. Jacobs, he tapped it down to Douglas, who kicked it out of the air, and Eddie should have taken a mark inside forward 50. Betts dropped it. Jenkins ropes it and kicks a point. Just hooked it a bit too much. That was fun. Adelaide by 66 on 11-goal lead.
It has been an entertaining contest for a one-sided contest as Grigg almost intercepts the kick in. Walker shrugs off a tackler. He's kicked 5. Oh, Texas working into some hot form. Look out as the Crows, if they're going to be finals bound, and they'll be back in the 8 tonight. With Jenkins having a good year up forward and Betts kicking over 40 goals now and Walker finding form. There's some potency up there. The lively Charlie Cameron. It's been a very good day for Adelaide. 72 points the lead. 2015 135 to 9963. 14 played final term grandstand AFL. Buick's kick in, one that he'd rather forget.
Well done again. Yeah, the Crows forward set up in their zone, just picking off yet another poor kick in. I wonder what the goals from turnovers are today.
Pretty high.
Jacobs another tap down to advantage. Lyons is there for Adelaide, hands it back to Jacobs. He has been a monolith today. He hand passes it to Dangerfield. He looks okay, kicks to the pocket, stretching there, just no mark near the boundary line, but there will be a free kick to Mitch Grigg, should I say. Grigg got one high, and he's going to run on and use his left boot from 55 to kick to the top of the goal mouth. Betts, he tries to shepherd, create space underneath. Another goal for Adelaide. Martin Robes and snaps his 3rd. A 13-goal lead for the Crows. 21 goals for Adelaide. 21-15, 141 to 9963. This has been a tremendous day out.
Yeah, you get the feeling out of the group of teams that can potentially make the 8. Adelaide are probably the most legitimate. I think their best football's capable against most of those sides in the top 8, and today will do their confidence no harm. Again, a little bit disappointing. I think Brisbane are starting to leak some very easy goals now. We'd like to see them fight those ones out to the death.
They've kicked 4 in 4 minutes, Adelaide. And the form has been good. They beat Port Adelaide, thrashed the Giants, only lost to Hawthorn in a tight one by 2 goals, beat Collingwood in Melbourne, and then had that shock loss last week, of course, to the West Coast Eagles. Martin, centre half back, gets his hand pass. Sloan gathers on the bounce. He shrugs the tackle of Martin. Did well from the bullseye. Lovely vision of Dangerfield back on the ground. 60 out. Kicks inside 50. Cameron the target over his head. And Rockcliffe marks on his chest in defence for the Lions. Short pass to Martin. Hung in the air a little bit, but good mark taken by Martin as Jacobs closed him down. Kick to the wing. Robertson, strong mark as Smith stride to spoil. Robertson's got it centre wing on the Vulture Street side.
I just think Dangerfield has got some restrapping on that right knee, so just to add a bit more to that story, it was probably just a concern with that area that was already taped.
Kick towards half forward for Hanley, but getting in the way was Wright. Brought it to ground level. Sloan gathers, kicks to Lyons ahead of the wing. He gets a hand pass to Brodie Smith. Lovely kicking skills at the back. Oh, what a spoil from Patfull. Looked like Betts was going to gobble it up. It was a beautifully weighted kick, but well read by Patfull to see it over the boundary line 20 metres from goal.
Talk about making the most of the opportunities with Lyons getting a late call up into the team. He's been really good, hasn't he? 23 touches and a goal, and just looked dangerous every time he's had the footy.
5-1 to 2-2 in favour of Adelaide in this final term. The Crows lead by 78 points. Thrown in the forward pocket. Aish gets his hand on it for Brisbane. Hand passes to Buick. A tumbling kick in hope goes straight down Sloane's throat, who marks for the Crows 52 metres from goal. He's got a man beseeching him to go over the man on the mark, and it's Jenkins, and Jenkins takes the grab on the chip pass over the man on the mark. So Jenkins will have a shot from 50. 45 degrees to the left.
Sorry, Q, talking about Adelaide trying to conserve here, or whether they just keep playing it out. Rory Sloane he's just running in this last quarter. You'd love to be able to just go and put him in cotton wool for the next 10 minutes. Josh?
The Crows will only be in the 8th tonight if Collingwood can't win in the West. And their percentage of 106.3 is going to get a huge boost today, as Jenkins puts a high right boot on goal. It's not going to have the journey. There's a pack near the goal line. Is Jacobs claiming a mark? He is. He's got it. Fittingly so. Among everyone, he stands tallest and says, "I'll have the footy, thanks."
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, how does this happen? Shouldn't he have 5 metres to kick the footy? He's got 3-4 Brisbane players within that. Surely that's closer than a 5 metre radius.
Well, Jacobs is going to use his left boot to kick it across the face and out of bounds off a punch.
Fair effort to stay in play, really.
And rightly so, because of the nature of this win and the percentage. The percentage is better than Essendon, so they'll actually go ahead of Essendon on percentage as well. So they actually up to 7th, and regardless of what Collingwood does,
they'll be in the 8th.
They'll be in the 8th.
It's a big day for them, isn't it?
There's another refinement of that story of the day.
Thrown in. Martin got a hand pass. Strong tackle. Wrestling out of it, though, was right to get a hand pass towards Dangerfield. He couldn't take it with him. Sloane, so strong again. Sweeps the hand pass out towards Grigg. Might be coming back in as Grigg gets a hand pass, and Crouch kick around the corner. In front, Walker takes the mark in front of Merritt. 40 metres out. 45-degree angle or a bit worse. And Texas a chance to kick 6.
Hasn't been a 6-goal day, really, for him. You don't sense, but
he's kicked 3 in this quarter already.
Cashing in late for that good karma early on.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Karma. Footy karma, Q.
Walker through the 50, kicking to the eastern end. It starts right, it draws back. It's another one. The Texas Ranger is back. He's got 6. Adelaide's got 22. 22-15, 147. Brisbane 9-9-63. The margin is 84 points at the 20-minute mark.
Let's check the Docklands through Morford.
Well, the Bulldogs are flogging St Kilda in the centre clearances 7-0, and they lead 5-1-31 to St Kilda. 3 straight goals, 18, with a shot for goal here for the Bulldogs, which is way off target. Now 5-2 to 3 goals, 22.5 played opening term.
Thanks, Drew. We've still got 8 minutes left here. 8 minutes to go. An 84-point lead. This could be 100. Jacobs with a tap down to advantage again in the middle of the ground, but unfortunately the man running onto it couldn't get the footy, and now he's down and hurt with a cramp as it bumbles back towards the centre circles. And Dangerfield, he's gone down in pain. He's in pain again, Dangerfield, as the Lions whack it towards half forward. Adelaide gets onto it. Brody Martin's there. Dangerfield is up and hobbling away, so that looks okay. Brody Smith kicks clear for the Crows to the middle of the ground to Lyons, who was the man who had the cramp a moment ago. So he's made a miraculous recovery as well, and he's kicked it inside 50 to Grigg. Now, I'm pretty sure it was Lyons who was down and had a cramp. He's up and okay because he's just kicked it. And now Dangerfield, he reefed his head back in pain a moment ago, but he's circulating near half forward.
It's hard to believe how much room some of these Crows players are getting, particularly the back of turnovers.
And the sub, Mitch Grigg, has a chance to kick a goal. On the left boot from 45, got under it a bit, and he's pushed it for a minor across the face. 22-16, 148, plays 9-9-63. Adelaide has Richmond at home next week, North Melbourne at Bellerive, and St Kilda at home to finish.
Here's our mate Jed kicking in. Where has he been? He kicks out. Back. Massive fly from Martin. Just couldn't quite bring down a mark of the year contender. And then there's a free kick on the deck. It's going to go the way of the Lions at left half back. Free kick's going to be taken by James Aish. Chips over the top. Out on the lead, Martin Marks, and a hand pass to Rockcliffe running past. He's racking them up. Taylor dropped an absolute sitter on the edge of the centre square. Jensch gathered, got a hand pass, and his teammate was clattered into there in Douglas. Ball locked in.
Zorko's in trouble here.
He's gone out the back. What can you see, Matt?
He's clutching his elbow. It could be a shoulder, I'm not sure, but he's in a lot of pain. Maybe a stinger of some kind.
Thrown in the air on the wing. Clearing kick from Ace. In front, Thompson got treatment there from close. No free kick. Zorko's got it. Defensive hand pass to the wing for Buick. Buick to Harwood. Not sure what to do. Kicks backwards dangerously to Paparone. Late spoil came. It was a good one too from Lyons. Hand pass to Douglas. Douglas to Cameron. Kicked it out in front of him. How's the bounce for Charlie? Charlie, the wonder kid. Hand pass over the top. What a combination they are. Eddie dribbles it through from the goal square. Betts has got 3. This is an old-fashioned belting now. 91 points the lead to Adelaide. 23 played final term. The Crows 23-16, 154. The Lions 9-9-63. They've only been beaten once by 100 points or more this season. The Lions, that was Port Adelaide in round 4. And there's some chance of that happening here as this game's really getting away from them.
But Brisbane had players injured that day and they were down on numbers. They're getting flogged by a team that are down on numbers themselves. That was the Leuenberger-Rich injury day when they were down on numbers. This is extraordinary, really.
Haven't really been tested at all in the second half with really low rotation numbers. So any advantage that Brisbane could have gained there, Adelaide haven't been tested. What a shocker of a bounce, by the way.
The bounce went about a metre and a half in the air and 5 metres to the right.
Umpires would have got here and said, it's a good day for the bounce today, boys.
Steph Martin wins the secondary ball up. Can they get a clearance, though? No, it bobbles free and is picked up by Brad Crouch of Adelaide. Kicks inside 50. Good work, though, from Paparone to get to the front of the pack. Take a mark for Brisbane. His kick is out in the front of Buick, who takes a mark at right half back for Brisbane. Adelaide led by 15 at quarter time, 44 at half time, 61 at three-quarter time, and they are in front by 91 now with 5 minutes to play in the game as the Lions go from right half back to left half back. McStay has a bounce. He's got Betts near him. McStay's hand pass is a shocker. Went along the ground trying to find Paparone, and Paparone couldn't pick it up. Lions gets it for the Crows. They're going to go inside 50 again. Hand pass to Brad Crouch on the run from 45. You'd back him, but you'll lose your money doing so. He's put that one across the face, and that's a minor. 92 the lead.
Crouch starting to rack up numbers. Lions both had 26. Taylor Walker, an amazing 20 possessions and 6 goals. A lot of them coming in the last quarter, but they're all starting to get amongst the possessions now.
Dreadful kick in from Buick. Walker for another possession and a mark. 60 out, goes inside 50, and his kick came off a hand, and Zorko gives a hand pass to Taylor, who hit it at pace. Had to give a hand pass away to no one as he was being tackled. Coming hard and meeting the football for the Lions there was Hanley. Got it back to Adcock. Kicks it up the Stanley Street wing. Taylor waited for it. McKay spoiled. Zorko at ground level. Paddles it. Wright going in hard for the Crows. Taylor working hard for the Lions to lock it in. And Zorko now feeding it out. Hanley takes it on the half volley, but then had it stripped. Comes from Wright. By hand he gives to McKay. McKay along the Stanley Street wing with a laconic and slow bounce. He's got too much time. He kicks to half forward. Lyons is there. Patfull's there. Across the front. Couldn't quite mark. Gave a hand pass towards the boundary line. Intended for McStay. It's gone out of play at half-back for the Lions on the Stanley Street side of the ground. The crowd's 19,657. Late stages here at the Gabba. 92 points the lead to the Crows.
Well, possession is 9/10 of the law, they say, and Adelaide will have its destiny in its own hands now for the last 3 weeks of the competition. They'll be inside the 8 with a relatively favourable last 3 weeks. And there could be a bit more optimism around the Crows, considering they dropped that game to West Coast last week. Adelaide with the footy on attacking 50 again. Jensch has got a chance to kick a goal. Doesn't go for goal. Kicks to the pocket. Merritt gets out in front, tries to spoil Dangerfield. Missed it. Betts gives it off to Dangerfield. He's tackled and ridden into the ground. And then Jacobs has a shot on goal, which is touched. It's another point. Dangerfield and up and okay. That was a ferocious tackle by Maguire. The lead to the Crows is 93 points.
Eddie dishing off handballs 5 metres out from goal, Josh.
Yeah, I thought there was something wrong with him at the start of the game.
What's going on there?
That might have been kicked through by Adcock in the end, was it?
It was a rush behind.
It was a rush behind.
Adcock kicks to half back, slapped the back of the contest. Taken by Martin, kicks back inside the 50. Big Jacobs is there. Adcock's got to try and manhandle him off it. Jacobs soccers towards the goal, but it's cleaned up for the Lions on the last line by Rockcliffe. He gives a hand pass to Patfield. The Gardner going by, kicks to half back. Good mark, Robertson, overcommitting Crouch, and now Robertson's away. He kicks towards half forward, 2-on-2. Hanley's well placed, got hands to it, slapped it down right, punches it over the boundary line. And it'll be thrown in 60 metres from the Lions' goal at the western end as Pierce Hanley's a little sore and sorry and slow to get up. Everyone's looking like there's not a whole lot of run in the legs at the moment.
Daniel Talia for the Crows getting worked on heavily too. Hopefully only cramp, but they're working on his left hamstring.
Thanks, Matt. Here's Grigg ducking through a tackle from Hanley, who's now got a sore hand. I think he near dislocated a finger in that attempted tackle. Kick goes up the wing, and a great mark from Dangerfield with McStay and Merritt on him. Merritt's a little lackadaisical getting back. Lovely pass from Dangerfield onto the chest of Sam Jacobs. He marks 45 metres out, bit worse than a 45-degree angle.
What a kick. What a mark to start with too by Paddy Dangerfield, who's not functioning on all cylinders at the moment, but really good contested mark out here. Rolled on quickly and without really knowing whether Sam Jacobs was coming at him, shot the bullet.
Made him, didn't he?
Made him come to him, didn't he, with a little bullet lace out.
So Jacobs, he's got one today. He'll be kicking from right on the paint of 50. In the sunshine at the Gabba, Big Sam, he's had multiple hit-outs. Now he's got multiple goals. His second goes through. It gives him cramp. He doesn't care. That margin's creeping up. 99 points. Will they crack the ton? 28 played final term. 24-18, 162 to 9-9-63.
Drew at Docklands.
Thanks, Q. Well, if there's any emotion in St Kilda because of Lenny Hayes, I can't see it. They're getting flogged at the moment. The Bulldogs by 26 points, 7-3-45 to the Saints, 3-1-19. And we're approaching quarter time, and it's all one-way traffic for the Dogs.
One-way traffic here. That's their last 11 scoring shots in the game to Adelaide. They've kicked 7-4 without Brisbane scoring since the 12-minute mark of this term. Centre bounce. Jenkinson's in ruck. He got it down to Crouch, but Crouch's hand pass stolen by Crisp. Crisp's hand pass is stolen, and the Crows will come forward again. Hand pass goes to Cameron. His hand pass goes back to Crouch. Crouch kicks it to the goal mouth. Dangerfield there. Nice ball came from Gardner. Back of the pack picked up by Maguire for Brisbane, and his left foot kick is good. Finds a target at left half back. Mays the recipient. Mays goes short to Rockcliffe. And Rockcliffe is still well inside defensive 50. He shorts it to Green. Brisbane have got Collingwood at the MCG next week, then Fremantle at the Gabba and Geelong at Cardinia Park. So this may have been the last chance, really, where the optimistics would have given them a hope of pinching another win before the end of the year. They've turned it over going to the wing. Adelaide's got the footy. Mark's taken by McKay. McKay's kick towards half forward is marked by Dangerfield, and he's just taking a bit of a posse around half forward and easing his way down after a busy day where he tweaked his knee a bit. Chips it short, and Yench has got the ball. He's just forward of the wing. 6 wins for the year for Justin Lepich and his team, and you wouldn't get too many suggesting they could pinch one in the last 3 weeks. Long ball towards the pack in the goal square, and another goal to Adelaide. Roving at the back, it's Mitch Grigg. Was able to dribble it through from 10 metres out. There's the ton at the Gabba. Raise your bat, Crows. And salute the fans that have made the trip from South Australia, because that is a 105-point lead. 25-18, 168 to Brisbane's 9-9-63.
He's got plenty of mates, but Mitch Grigg to come on at half-time and have 13 possessions and kick a goal, he's been terrific, as has Lions, who came in late to the team, and the usual suspects, Sloan and Jacobs and Walker, have been absolutely outstanding. So just a complete performance by Adelaide, Josh.
Yeah, nice tune-up for him, isn't it? Just leading into the last 3 rounds.
Martin the tap down to Crisp. He's tackled immediately. Got the hand pass to Martin, who hacks a kick forward for the Lions to a pack. Fisting away from Ace was Smith. It goes towards the boundary line. Robertson will get there first for the Lions. He's working in a tight situation, so he's going to quick kick the squaring ball towards the goal square. No mark taken for the Lions. Martin's got it for the Crows. Handball out towards the boundary line. Jensch is there. He just keeps it in play. Matt Jensch has been a good player. He kicks towards Cameron, who in the end edged out Martin, allowing a path for Grigg, who takes the mark at right half back for the Crows. Grigg, low left foot kicks, not a great kick. Knocked down by McStay, but slapped on the Crows' way by Jenkins, and Sloan, the impressive one, kicks towards Walker, flies up, Merritt in front, nearly marked. That's the end of it all. A 105-point win to the Crows, who are back in the top 8 and looking dangerous. They've knocked the stuffing out of the Lions.
Courageous, stronger, faster, and respected by our foes. Adoration of the nation, out into the nation shows. We're the pride of South Australia, we're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
13 goal kickers for the Adelaide Crows. On a big afternoon, Taylor Walker kicked 6, including 4 in the final term. 3 to Martin, 3 to Betts, 2 to Jenkins, 2 to Sloan, 2 to Jacobs, 2 to Lynch, singles to Cameron, Grigg, Dangerfield. The list goes on. Wright, Jensch also got a goal for the Lions. 3 to Crisp, 2 to Green, singles to Zorko, McStay, Mays and Rockcliffe. A 105-point win to the Crows. 9-9-63 the Lions. The Crows 25-18, 168.
Where the story will be told as we fight the rugged battles, the flag will be our goal. Our skill and love will see us through. Our commitment never grows. We're the pride of South Australia. We're the mighty Adelaide Crows. Yes, the pride of South Australia. We're the mighty Adelaide Crows.
We've got a quick wrap-up here, boys. With just 3 minutes or so before News Radio leaves and the rest of the country heads to the build-up to Collingwood and West Coast. But Adelaide have absolutely destroyed the Lions here. And just having a quick look at the record book, I'll need to delve deeper. I'm trying to think of the last time Brisbane was beaten by 100 points at home. We'd have to go back to the Bad News Bears days, I'd reckon, or the late 90s when the Lions were an absolute rabble before Lee Matthews came to the club. It's been a terrific performance from Adelaide today. Josh Fraser, Craig Starcevich, your thoughts?
Yeah, the only downside for Adelaide, Q, is a couple of serious injuries. One to Tom Lynch. Hopefully he'll come up quick, but Andy Otten's, it may not be as positive, given that he went off with a knee injury. But they absolutely dismantled the Lions, as we've seen and spoken about. They won the ball when it was in dispute. They got it back off the opposition when they had to with tackling stats. Their kick-to-handball ratio was a hell of a lot better than the Lions. Lions just over-possessed the ball, mainly because they're under pressure the whole time, and just completely dismantled the Lions. So a really good, solid win. It's probably worth 8 or 10%. And that 8 or 10% is going to be very, very handy in the next couple of weeks. So Adelaide have got the 4 points, and really it's worth 4.5 games. There you go.
And votes, gents, to put you on quick notice here, because time is on the fly.
Yeah, really hard to leave a guy out who had 40 possessions, but Tom Rockcliffe at least hung in there for the Lions, had 40 touches, can you believe it, with another 10 tackles. So really well done, Tommy Rockcliffe, but no votes, unfortunately. We gave a vote to Taylor Walker, who was outstanding, 21 possessions, 6 goals in the end, a colossus up forward, and really did a lot of other things that he won't get statistical recognition for. Rory Sloan, we thought, was outstanding with 2 votes, 28 possessions, 10 tackles, absolute workhorse through the middle, and as usual, really worked hard for his team. But 3 votes today. The ruckman, Sam Jacobs, 19 possessions, a couple of goals when he went forward, and 35 plus hit-outs. So we thought his game was absolutely outstanding. So 3 votes for big Sam Jacobs.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes, just haven't been able to get that exact stat as yet, but that's got to be one of the worst losses for the Brisbane Lions in Gabba history here. But a terrific victory for Adelaide, and they'll be in the 8 for at the end of this round with 3 rounds to go.
Never been beaten by 100 here.
Never been beaten. There you go. I thought there was some type of statistical significance about the day as well from a Brisbane Lions perspective. So I don't know whether the Bears were ever beaten here by that much, but nonetheless, it's a shocking day for Justin Lepage, but a great day for Brenton Sanderson. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage from the Gabba. Most of you heading to the west for the Pies and the Eagles.
Coming to you live on ABC Local Radio and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Grandstand Digital.
100% pure footy.
Pure footy. Pure footy. Grandstand AFL.
Wastes no time, turns and kicks inside the attacking 50. Turns and dribbles round another goal.
Head ball bounces 40 metres out. He should bounce again. Doesn't have to bother. Goal. One of the highlights of the day. Reaches over the top. Palms down. He's 65 out. Launches very long. Oh, that's an unbelievable goal.
AFL.
Trying to spin his way through. Fail. Gets hold of it. He had a breath of space and he didn't waste it.
100% pure footy.
Pure footy.
No one between him and the goals is there. He barrels the long goal. He doesn't wait for the whistle. Plays on. Goes for goal and kicks a beauty from 40 metres out. Off the step. Kicks across the body and drills the goal. Gets towards goal. Swings it in for the winner. He can wheel around and just stroll in and kick a major. He's from 60. He's whacked it on a path to goal and carried the journey.
Grandstand AFL on ABC Local Radio and on ABC Grandstand Digital.
Grandstand Digital.
It's a huge game for both the West Coast Eagles and Collingwood. The Magpies have dropped back out of the 8 with Adelaide's monstrous win over Brisbane a short time ago, so they need 4 points. And the West Coast Eagles again talk around Perth that they are a silly finals chance. It would just be a silly one, but if they're to have any hope of making the finals, after most of us wrote them off a number of weeks ago, they must win today against Collingwood. And they're a team that the Eagles have got a very poor record against. The Magpies have won their past 3 and they've won 10 of their past 11 games against West Coast. The Eagles will be hoping to put on a performance. They inducted another 6 players into their Hall of Fame last night. We'll speak about that very shortly. They'll be here today, or most of them will be anyway, as the West Coast Eagles take on Collingwood at a cool Subiaco Oval. G'day, Clint Wilden in commentary today alongside Corbin Middlemass, and with us Ken Judge and James Clement. Ken, good to see you. James, great to be back with us again. Ken, this is a big one for Collingwood after what happened up north with Brisbane thumping Adelaide, isn't it?
Well, it's a big game for both sides because, West Coast would harbour some slight hopes of playing finals footy, and I think they're pretty slight at the moment. But, while there's life, there's hope, and there's a bit of life there for them. So I think that they would be thinking the door's slightly ajar for them, whereas Collingwood, on the other hand, they've got to win because they have dropped out of the 8, but they also need to, they would have thought, and I think most of us thought that Collingwood were probably going to be a top 8 side this year, and their season's really well and truly on the line as well.
I need to just confer there, touch of jet lag, of course. Adelaide thumping Brisbane by 105 points. Thanks, Corbin. Good to see you again, mate. How you been?
Yeah, likewise. Good to have you back. Probably due another good game in this round of footy. We've had a couple of blowouts and obviously a 100-point margin here. So apart from really the Fremantle game last night against Geelong, and Friday night offered plenty, the match obviously between Essendon and Richmond kicked the last few goals to make it 18 points. But there's not much between these two teams, as you said, James. You obviously follow your former side, Collingwood, very closely. How do you see them situated at the moment?
Well, look, it's fair to say that they've certainly been up and down as far as the form line goes this year, and it reflects the fact that they've been in and out of the 8, particularly in the last few weeks. And even though we are a couple of years into the Nathan Buckley regime, it's a team that tends to look as though they're still struggling to adapt to his style of play. And obviously he moved on some quite senior players that he thought needed to be refreshed at the end of the last season. And those fresh faces have come in while they've had some good games. They've actually had some very poor games as well, and have certainly contributed to that up and down style of form. But they're knocking on the door of the 8. Don't think they're going to be serious finals contenders if they do get in this year, rather than just making up the numbers.
More from James and Ken shortly, but we're joined by a very special guest down on the boundary West Coast. Beau Waters joined the likes of Carlton Vice-Captain Kate Simpson, the Geelong midfielder Matthew Stokes, and Port Adelaide Captain Travis Boak as a nominee for the 2014 Jim Steins Community Leadership Award. He's a busy man, Beau Waters. We'd love to see him playing at the moment, but while he's not, he's got ongoing work with a number of community and charitable organisations. He donates time to the Cancer Care Council of WA. He's a board member for Youth Focus, the Young Men's Project Committee. He's a regular Camp Quality volunteer and fundraiser and a committee member of the WA Healthy Awards overseen by Healthways WA. So he's got plenty going on, and right now he's about to talk to Dave Lindsay. Dave, g'day.
G'day, Clint. Yeah, sounds as though you're almost too busy for footy, but maybe it's a good thing you've got a few injuries. It's a pretty impressive sheet there that Clint's just read out in terms of all the things that you get up to during the week. How did you get into it in the first place? Was it simply just a case of had a bit of time on your hands with the injuries, or is it something you've always been interested in giving back to the community?
Yeah, look, it's something I've been passionate about for a long time. I don't think it's a reflection of my injuries. The club's been great in helping facilitate the opportunities, and it first started with Council WA, and it's grown from there. I sort of started as an ambassador and then moved into a board role and directorship. So I love meeting people and hearing people's stories and engaging with the broader society, and it's a bonus that while I'm injured I get to invest a bit more time into it.
Clearly you don't get into these sort of things to receive awards and accolades, but it must be nice to receive a nomination for the Jim Steins Award.
Oh, look, it goes without saying, Jim's a great ambassador of the game and the community. He's done so many great things for the Australian community, and ironically enough, he wasn't Australian. So it's great for the sport, and it's great for the AFL to get recognition for the players, because there's a lot of players that do a lot of work, and while there's 4 players in the shortlist, the broader AFL community does a lot of work with the clubs and the playing group, and it's nice to be recognised as a contributor.
No doubt it would be very frustrating for you to spend another season on the sidelines watching your mates out there. Firstly, how is the body, and what are the plans for the future? Can we expect to see you back out there ready and firing after a good pre-season for next season?
Yeah, I've done four pre-seasons back-to-back now, so I should be pretty fresh by next year. All the focus